Today, we're going to do some programming, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to do it. I do want to do a quick check-in on the system, because the last couple streams have been kind of exploring different systems. I'm a little bit exhausted from just this entire endeavor. I think as you get older, you just don't like change, or maybe people just don't like change in general. Because this has been very difficult for me, and I gotta say, I just kind of want to go back to DWM. And I feel like an old man where I'm like, yeah, you know, here's a hammer, here's a nail. This just works. Why change? I know. It's terrible, but let me just show you. Let me just show you what I mean. This right here is the current layout, and it's using Hyperland. And we got like this right here, and you can launch into this. Thing is though, like if you're like up here in the title bar, sometimes it like artifacts like this. Also, sometimes Looking Glass just closes out of nowhere. Other notable bugs, I guess, is my way bar showing the wrong time. I guess there's like a TZ data module that it relies on, a dependency that is currently like has a bug, and the issue is you got to do a downgrade of TZ data to fix it so it actually grabs the proper time zone that you're in. I don't know how to put this elegantly, but I'm really mad at Vaxry and a lot of the Linux community because they make it seem like this is the best, and there is no professional out there that would agree with that statement. I just cannot see using this as a main daily driver for me with how unstable the whole, like, just you have a shit ton of dependencies. I don't even understand how people could say this is peak. This is what I'm using on a daily basis. I get it if you're just ricing stuff out and you want stuff to look really cool, because honestly, this does look probably better than anything I've ever seen. But right now, I'm just filled with just all this anger. So I'm like, God, I just want it to work. I just want it to work. And it kind of works. It's just not so much. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Just had a rant right at the very beginning, but we're gonna stay in it. I'm gonna see it through. We're not just gonna switch back to the stuff that works. We're gonna hang in here. We're gonna do this, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great, and that's what we're gonna do. Anywho, how's everybody doing today? Let's check in with chat. Started out the stream. It's just been kind of crazy. Yeah, Twitch is actually, I think it's September right now too. So if you do get a subscription on Twitch, I think you get, what is it, 20% off, 30% off, something like that? I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of, I always kind of bounce back and forth between YouTube and Twitch. I think overall Twitch delivers a better experience, but it depends on you as a user. It's 25% off. Yeah. Thank you, Raz. And like I have YouTube Premium, which is like, you know, my whole family, we watch just a ton of YouTube, and you know, we don't like ads, and ad blockers sometimes don't work or it causes stutters, and I'm just like, whatever, take your money, Google. Here, giant monopoly, have $20, just don't serve me any ads. So that's just what I do. So for me, I probably would watch a lot of streams as a lurker on YouTube, but if I was actually interacting with chat and stuff, I would just have to do Twitch, just because the IRC is just so superior, it's not even funny. That's where I'm kind of, I kind of bounce back and forth. So I see the purpose of both platforms. That's why I stream on both for most of the users, and you know, I don't mind. It's a little more setup to do both, but in the end, I want to give the best user experience as possible. As I sit here and complain about Hyperland's user experience or all the different Linuxy user experiences we've tackled over the last several days. I always strive to try and give the best user experience. It's always on the forefront of my thought process, because it's important that you don't have a whole bunch of friction between you and the folks on the other end of the screen. I think the least amount you can is great. Oh yeah, no worries, man. It doesn't matter. Like, it's kind of cool. Like, a lot of this is just fun. Like, I'm having fun, you're having fun. That's what this stream's all about. That's why I don't have any like extra flair on a lot of the a lot of like the here's a sub goal or whatever it is. I probably should do something like that, but yeah, it's more about the result of the stream than the stream itself. Does that make sense? I do need to add like extra scenes and other stuff to make this a little bit more of a, I don't know, more interactive experience. I'm always trying to think of fun stuff, but I don't want to add like, here's my last donation or here's my last subs or anything like that. I want it to just be fun. And the whole purpose of these streams at the end of the day is to have something we can look back on and go, oh my God, you remember the time Titus blew up his computer on Hyperland? That was hilarious. Or we can look back and go, hey, we worked on some Windows utility. We developed this certain feature. We can look through that development and go, oh, that's awesome. And then we made that tool better. So the streams are really more about the end product than the actual streams themselves. So I think I treat it a bit different than most other people. And that's the goal. And I think it's a good one. And it feels great. Like, as I did this and as I do YouTube and other stuff, I just really enjoy making things that people use. And if you use it and it changes your life or saves you time, think of that. Like, if I save 30 minutes for 1,000 people, that's 30,000 hours I just saved someone. Saved a collective of people. Man, that feels good. That feels so cool. That's more fulfilling than anything else. Can you add microwin to LinUtil? Oh man. Yeah, the tricky thing about microwin is it's all Microsoft tools. So we'd have to add, like, DISM is what it leans on heavily, and PowerShell. Now there is PowerShell core that can be done in Linux, but DISM is a specific Windows-based operation, and how it mounts and manipulates images is very proprietary to Microsoft Windows. So probably not is the long answer to that. Good to hear, Kenji. Could microwin run on Docker? Possibly. Yeah, I mean, anything can run on Docker. When you download the Arch ISO, how did you make it install more than one package like Arch Titus did? It's a modification to the pacman.conf file. There's something called parallel downloads. As a trigger, you just change that and make sure it's enabled. So anybody can do that with any Arch-based stuff. I need some admin things on Linux so I can get Windows out of my production stack. Yeah, I don't think I can ever really remove Windows from my production stack, specifically for just global usage. You got to remember, more than 70% of the entire world uses Windows, and it's, the 800-pound gorilla in the room. We will need to interface with Windows. If you do any kind of computer work, you will need to check Windows. So at least having one in like a test environment like I have here is what I'd recommend. So you can just kind of isolate or kind of push it out like this. And then when you're done with Windows, you just quit it. And you're like, sweet, back in Linux. Life feels good again. Okay, we got to do that. Oh God, that's going to be annoying. Yeah, it's okay. We're going to make it through. You can probably write a window rule to make sure it's always full screen, maybe. Still doesn't feel good. All right. When you download the Arch ISO, how do you make it? Oh, yeah, we already answered that. Hello from Morocco. Well, sweet. Good to have you here. Should be fun. Oh, no, Rux. What about Chatterino? You tried that? Do some Chatterino? I wonder why this is not full screen. What's up with that? Snap. Huh. What? Okay. Like, do we have another? Let's push it to workspace 5, maybe? I just feel so defeated by Hyperland. Yeah. Ah, okay. We're not going to rant and rave about Hyperland this stream. We're going to keep using it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great, Chris. All right. Just... It's going to be great. Just launch it again. It'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's great. It's a great tiling window manager for Wayland. It's going to be great. Everyone just uses it and doesn't have any problems. Nothing crashes. Everything's fine. It's all fine. This is fine. Mother! I didn't even touch the keyboard. I swear, someone's hacked into my system and is just messing with me right now. All right. I'm going to just say right now, we got to get some work done. And I would love to be... I mean, I even went and got my overpriced coffee for this stream. I got everything. I'm sitting here with the fancy graphics. I did disable the animations because I'm not a kid. And I just wanted it to work right. I was ready. I was ready. But at the end of the day, we do need to actually get some work done. So I think we're just going to exit and go to DWM. We're going to put on our big boy pants and just go to something that actually works. Ah, hello, old friend. There we go. Now. All right, sweet. Oh, let's go. Man, it just feels better. Nice. All right, cool. Yeah, we got to do some of this. Let's first talk. We got to go through WinUtil first. So if we look at WinUtil, there's only a couple things here I wanted to go through. I went through all the pull requests last night. We had like 30 or so. And there's a couple I really wanted to show. So we're going to knock that out. It'll take me probably 15 minutes to knock out the 3 really big pull requests I wanted to show. A lot of them from Martin. There's a few from Drift User I just merged as well. Drift User did some great bug fixes that I already merged. But I did want to add like the PowerShell profile and a couple refactor specifically for Martin showed the new elevation, and how he did the elevation I thought was really good. So Martin did this one, and he also designed adding chocolatey as a first one as well, which is really cool. It is just a neat addition. So if you want to prefer chocolatey, some people don't like WinGit, you could actually tick this box and go. So let's first download, compile, run, make sure we don't have anything kind of sitting in here. So we're going to launch terminal with admin. Let's see what we got. Let's go WinUtil. Make sure we're working off of a good branch on main. Then I like to just do a compile like this. See if there's any code formatting changes. There's not. And then just do a local compile or run of WinUtil. So now we know we're at a good starting spot. The branch is up to date. This is just kind of how I like to start my workflow. You may have noticed down here, the icon is now using an ICO. It's real defined. And this is a Drift User's fix that I merged yesterday. So big shout out to Drift User. That's really awesome. And if we look, this is what R does. And then we want to add this preferred chocolatey from Martin. Now, Martin is probably one of the best contributors we have. Definitely top 3. There's a lot of his stuff I've already looked through. Said, man, this is great. So looking through some of the code changes here, let's go through. We're starting a process of PowerShell, and this is the chocolatey. This actually opens up a new window instead of doing it inside the same window. Really good. Oh, Cody Wonder says the ISO downloader is almost ready. So instead of having to go to Microsoft.com, this will actually go there and download the latest ISO for you during the creation phase of the MicroWin utility as well. So it's great. So we got that. This is a brand new for the program chocolatey install. This is going to install and change this out. So if we want to do that, and he did add a new function called run Cocoa command. Not too much here. Update taskbar progress. So he added a bunch of, like, if you do multiple installs with chocolatey, you're going to actually get a progress bar just like you did with WinUtil. I believe he was the one that designed the progress bar when we're doing multiple installs of WinUtil using using the method now. Then we have the uninstall, and all that looks good. So I've already kind of gone through most of this, so it looks like I'm going pretty fast because last night I was like, I want to go through all the PRs, so I'm not sitting here looking line by line, painstakingly kind of ignoring chat as well. And we'll go through it and do it. So let's merge this to main. Let's do a compile, make sure it runs properly, make sure it doesn't mess anything up. We'll do an install with WinUtil first, then check install from Chocolatey, check that, make sure it doesn't break anything, and we should be good to go. Drift user already approved this. Calum, so a couple people look like they've already tried it out. We'll see. I'm not sure. Don't change this part of the file on Essential Tweaks PowerCell 7 Markdown. Oh, that's just a comment. So let's squash and merge, and then we're going to just grab these changes. Don't pull that PR. Too late. We just pulled it. So let's grab this down. Let's do a compile. Let's look for any changes. We do have some formatting changes, specifically in the user guide. Some zero space here, and some space here. So that's okay. We will commit this back to the branch as long as our WinUtil works. So we have our WinUtil. This is the preferred Chocolatey. Let's grab a couple things to install. I'm going to probably just grab some simple utilities like maybe 7-zip, AnyDesk, and AutoHotkey. We'll grab these three and hit install. And let's see what happens here. We've got the install 7-zip right here. Kind of want to bring that down just to see how that's working. I want to kind of see it side by side. So we have a little bit of a update over here and here. And then I want to do the same thing with Chocolatey. After these are done, we're going to uninstall them. All right, installation finished. All those look good. Let's verify that. We'll do AutoHotkey since it's a pretty small one. AutoHotkey dash. Interesting. I don't think I've ever used the dash component of AutoHotkey. All right. Now let's come back here. Let's say uninstall selected. Yes, we're going to uninstall these. Now we got the uninstall packages. I want to see the console and then see how the GUI responds. All right, let's remove configuration files and uninstall. Orange accent is horrible. Yeah, I do need to change some of the GUI for sure. All right, we're done. Uninstall is completed. So that's good. So now we see WinGet's still working. Those modifications did not change anything. Now let's check Martin's Chocolatey. We're going to try to do 3, same 3 we did with WinGet, over on Chocolatey. Hit install, and here we go. So now we're doing Chocolatey. Okay. Install AutoHotkeys next. We're not doing like a no new window here, so this is a little bit more dirty, I think. I'd almost prefer this to be over here, but it's not a deal breaker either, as long as the end result is the same. So now we have that. Those installations have been done, and you can see those 3. Let's try the uninstall after that install happened. So now we're going to go in and uninstall. Yes. And now let's see what happens on the uninstallation side of things. Oh yeah, blue accent would be so much better. I agree. Man, we should make that happen. How about this is done? This looks like a great commit from a usage standpoint. I like it. Hey Chris, why does MicroWin remove RDP? Ooh, that's a good section. I didn't realize it did. We do a global removal of most packages from the App Store. It might be tied into the MS Store now. So RDP, I thought it was a standalone package. If you have that install going on MicroWin, let's I think it's a Microsoft MSTSC, I think it is. Yeah. So MSTSC typically will get you a RDC connection. That should be just an executable. So I don't think MicroWin should remove that. Hopefully that's still in your install. If you're using Windows Pro on either Windows 10 or 11, MSTSC should still be there. So do a start run for me, type that command in, see if it's there. If it's a feature, we could, it could be getting removed, because right now we pretty much just select the features in DISM and say, hey, omit these features, everything else dump. And that's how we kind of slim down the packages. So it might be a feature. I know I just pulled Coding Wonders change last night, and he did a fix for changing how the features get removed. And I think it would also leave one of the features that some other people had an issue with. I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. MSRDC structure. Yeah, I think that's it, Coding Wonders. So yeah, maybe it is removing it. Yeah, so this feature is really nice, something we've been kind of working on for several years. As we built out the JSON file for all the applications in the WinUtil, we've been adding Chocolatey alongside of WinGit packages. The reason for this was for the day this came, we wouldn't have to retroactively go back through every single program in here. We would already have it programmed in. So I've always wanted to have this as we implemented as a failsafe several months back, and now we can actually elevate that to be the primary if you like Chocolatey and you hate WinGit. Or let's say you do a new system, or maybe an LTSC system that's a little old where WinGit can't get used or installed. You can just now click prefer Chocolatey and then install your programs. So even if you are using like an older version, or if you're on Windows 10 or using like a Creators Update 1703, that would also be a good way to get around the inability to use WinGit. So very cool. All right, nice. So great features all the way around. Now, someone mentioned the accent colors here being orange, and they should be blue. So kind of like how that is blue, I think we can do something there. I think we can do like a light blue accent color instead of the orange. It's kind of ugly, I think is the term they used, and I agree with them. Let's change that. So that would probably be in our themes. We could probably change. Where do we put that? I want to say themes JSON. It's our default. Yeah, I need to do. Oh, we need to do a Nordic theme for sure. I need to do a video on the main channel. Maybe Saturday I'll release a video on the main channel going over MicroWin, since there's so many questions in chat about it. And I haven't really made a video dedicated to it. Essentially, it's a version of Windows that you just take the stock ISO from Microsoft, and then it just does all the same settings that would happen as if when you installed Windows 7. So you have a clean desktop. There's no system modifications, meaning everything that should be there's there, like Defender's there, Edge is there, all that crap I'm not removing. So I'm not changing what Microsoft wants you to use, but I am removing all the extra crap because, you know, Facebook pays them millions, TikTok pays them millions to make sure the TikTok and the Facebook icons are already pre-installed with the App Store, among many other things that are done that bloats up the install. The force of Microsoft accounts, those types of things, all that gets basically removed or bypassed. So it gives you the best stock experience of Windows with no bloat, but also no major modifications. So it's a good starting ground for using Windows. And that's all I want MicroWin to be. I don't want to do like crazy customizations and do, hey, too much. I want a really basic thing that anyone could use and give you a good starting point in Windows without the maddening Windows experience where you're like, crap, okay, let me de-bloat and change all this. And yeah, that's just my thoughts. Let's see. So first, what's that accent color? I guess let's first find, I want to say it's matrix, main foreground color, RGB. So let's first grab that. Do we have color picker on here? God, I don't think we do actually. Let's just go WinUtil. Probably easiest thing here would be like power toys probably. Well, oops. Power toys. I think there's like a color picker in there I've used in the past. Yeah. Prime and TJ figuring out how to send files to VPS failed using SCP. And now trying rsync. That's awesome. Rsync should work for him. I've done a lot of VPS transfers via rsync. So we're just installing PowerToys now. Once this finishes, we should just be able to do Super Shift C for color picker. And then I want to kind of grab this highlight color. And then we're going to target that in our theme file. And we're going to change some of the theme around. So we're not using this ugly orange. We'll change it to more CTT cold colors instead of this. Oh, you're attempting to... Yeah, let's just go no skip. Oh, I think it actually failed there. No PowerToys installed, huh? No, it's there. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, all right, let's try this preferred chocolatey and see what happens. Oh, I bet you there's a redistributor or some... .NET 8 needed. That's what's happening. Chocolatey got it, though. Based on this error, I kind of want to change, instead of doing, hey, specific user, I feel like we should just fail right over to chocolatey and just have it install. Thoughts? I think that's pretty good. Oh, well. Oh, man. I still love Flameshot. Too bad. You know, that's the one downside about Wayland that I've had, too. I really miss Flameshot. And Flameshot is Xorg only. So that's one other downside to what I've been doing. Oh, no kidding. Failed to install. Well, shucks, man. Does look like PowerToys is a bust. I wonder what's up with that. When in doubt, install updates. There it goes. Learn more. Install now. All right. Well, it does seem like Chocolatey did end up getting it. Yeah, I think we'll go through and change some of the theming real fast. I know I was going to say, like, hey, it's only going to take me 15 minutes, but my version of 15 minutes and yours will probably differ quite a bit. I'm just saying. Don't worry. We're going to get to Linux utility. We started early today, so we got plenty of time on the stream. Started really early. All right. So now we got our PowerToys, right? PowerToys? Maybe? I feel like this is broken. We are on a beta. I had to sign up for the Insider Edition because I was trying to get recall going so I could start troubleshooting ripping that sucker out. Hey, let's just do our updates. Oh, gross. We're on a dev build of this, by the way. If we look at our Insider program, we are on the, I want to say dev channel. Yeah, we're on the dev channel. Yeah, that's that's quite unfortunate. That's why you can see like my BS Microsoft account up here and all that. Yeah, I wanted to try and get the newest version of Windows pretty much possible. We could go Canary to get a little bit more bleeding edge, but I need some relative stability, and dev channel, I wouldn't call stable, but stable enough. Recall is only available on ARM. I was hearing that Recall was getting installed on all systems, and I was kind of seeing if that was true. That's why I'm on the dev channel. But we'll see. Because there was a bunch of outlets reporting that 24H2 was going to install Recall for every Windows user. I don't know if that just got regurgitated by a whole bunch of tech articles or if it's the truth. Hard to say. It just got installed on Windows 11 LTSC IoT. Oh, bro. LTSC got Recall? What is Microsoft doing? Yeah, it shouldn't be getting installed on anybody without an NPU, because it's just going to completely kill performance. I don't know what happened there. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, there is a lot of lobbyists with Microsoft, and there's a lot of back and forth with the government agencies. I could see Recall being a massive benefit for the surveillance state. So if you're, FBI, CIA, that type of thing, NSA, this would be a huge win for them in being able to see every single little thing you do on your computer. So them getting installed by default across the board, a little tinfoil hat here, but I could totally see how that could be very good from a surveillance standpoint. Obviously not for us end users. I'm just saying there is a lot of government influence at Microsoft, and Microsoft has a lot of influence on the government as well. So it wouldn't shock me if something like that came out. Yeah, and I mean, why would you push this feature. That's the thing that I don't understand is the public backlash of recall was swift and just a tidal wave of negativity. If they actually cared about the end users and cared about end users' money, you would obviously nix that feature, right? Nobody, there was no person I met, whether online or in person, that says, I want to use recall. That sounds like a fantastic idea. That person doesn't exist. So now that we've established that, why is it still there? It's just a thought. I'll let you think on that one. What? I want to use recall. You know, I'm going to install it. I'm going to install it and see what happens. I can't wait to do a deeper dive on recall. I mean, the content writes itself there. I mean, as a YouTuber, it's like the greatest gift Microsoft could have ever given us. It's fantastic. Hey, Chris, where do you learn programming from? Just going out and doing stuff. You just got to go do it. I don't really do any like courses or anything like that. I just kind of throw myself into it, see what I can learn, and first just hack away at it and see what I can come up with. Then I usually try to supplement that with some traditional knowledge through like a book, and then hack away again, rinse and repeat that several times until I can actually code something. So I don't think it's the best way to learn. It's just how I do it. It's not very efficient. If I could sit in a class, I probably would. If I was like 20 and I could get in a class that just kind of taught a specific programming language, I probably would do that. But no, I'm kind of old and I don't have that much time. So this is my method. That's right. ChatGPT did say that I offer a bunch of tech courses and Linux offerings last time I asked. Yeah, old Jippity. Man, I don't know what happened with that. I was just trying to run updates and it looks like that's failing. I'm going to have to redo this. I'm going to have to do this whole section again. What other color picker before PowerShell? How far behind is Windows 11 from Dev or Canary branches? Usually about 6 months gaming. Yeah, but it also depends on your version and how you do it. If you use my recommended options, you should be about a year behind, which is where you want to be. The idea is you never want to be on the bleeding edge of Windows or Canary or Dev build because you're just going to get a broken computer at the end of the day. You're going to run into weird bugs. You're going to go to update and then you're going to just have some strange errors probably pop up. Something like install error 0xC015001A. It's real descriptive. It's a good thing this old operating system gives such good descriptive error codes. Jokers at Microsoft. Anyways, probably do a reboot and let that go through if I was a patient man, which I'm not. So we'll just use another color picker tool other than PowerShell. Color picker, Windows. Flameshot. Does Flameshot have a color picker? Is Power Toys? Yeah. Although, yeah. Color picker, minimal but complete desktop app. Sure. Let's just download random apps. I'm down for that. Hey, they got a portable app. Sure. Let's grab a portable app. Yay. So we're gonna just launch that. Cool. So let's come on back to our utility. I don't need anything fancy. Let's go WinUtil. The Tangerang color in the theme is FFAC1C. Okay. So if you look, let's go color picker. Yeah. As you see, that's exactly right. FFAC1C. So looking at this, FFAC1C, you can see the border color and opacity with a shadow pulse. Probably the best way to do this. Let's pick a different one. So what if let's get a lighter one, bring up that, just make it, oh, no, let's bring out that. Let's just lighten it up a little bit. Something gives it a little bit of a glow. Something like that. 0060 CC. That sounds like a good one to me. Let's go 0060 CC. So something around that color I feel like would be pretty good. So we'll go from the orange. Let's do a compile. See what else we got. So we're going to go compile, WinUtil. How's this one look? There might have been another spot for that one, huh? Border color down here. What else do we have? FFAC. Let's see if there was another one. Label box color. Was there another drop? So here's the border color. You have some opacity. I feel like there's some other one that's not grabbing in. Or is this getting hard-coded in? Maybe we're getting ignored. I don't think it's getting hard-coded in. So let's go. Here's your classic. Where's the border color? I don't see the border color here. So I don't think this one has a border color. This one's just going to use all black for the border color. So obviously that's not it. Font, progress bar, foreground color, and then background color here. We can use that one. Ooh, I don't know though. That might be a little bit too dark. For the progress bar, I think I'm gonna leave that actually. Okay. So we got this. Let's save it out, compile it again. I feel like it just didn't quite get it. Yeah, let's compile it again. WinUtil. Yeah, there we go. This looks a little off over here. So this red, which RGB, so this is probably like looks like CC, like 00. And this one, we'll grab that color as well. So let's first grab color picker. Let's get the 9cc. I feel like this should be maybe a darker blue. Use a sky color, you think? Okay. Yeah, scroll bar and mouse over color. I agree. We can change that. So we're going to first grab the 9cc. So we got 9cc. That's being used in a couple different spots. So instead of the green, let's bring that back. You said a sky color. Let's go FF. Let's bring it up. Let's go with a really high sky color. Something, what about like that? What do y'all think of that? I'm not doing pink. So we have that, and then we could go dark, or we could even go lighter when you click on it. I think 00 CFFF would be the correct way to go here. So let's grab this and go 00 CFFF, and then just replace all that. Okay. And then chat also says we have, well, let's just go FF57. So we have FS57 for the selected color, and I think that's 33. Now for this color, this is when you click on it and you got to depress. So we could go into almost like a purple, bring a little purple in. Doesn't change it that much. It's still kind of blue, but it's more of a, could go with more gray. We want to go with like a Nordic. I mean, Nordic palette would be cool too. My favorite bluish color, 799 Abe. Okay, let's try that. 799 ABE. You know what? Let's go with that. For a depress, I'm okay with that. It's a little more purplish than my liking, but it's like a bluish purple. Sure. Letting chat decide. 799 ABE. Right? Bam. It's kind of weird. Like when you get some front-end designers, every front-end designer I've ever met that does a bunch of stuff with GUIs, they just have a thing with RGB. They just know. So this is what we currently got. Made that highlight color a little more bluish. I kind of dig that. Now we're changing this from this yellow-red color scheme to this. Let's close this and recompile. The thing I don't know about is the change of the text color. So that's where I'm like, this might not be enough to make it pop. We'll see how we like it. Oh, that is very blue. It's a little too blue. That's that's just blue. Yeah. Blue deepa do. Yeah, it's I love me some blue, but that's even too much for me. All right. I think what we're going to do here is let's look at that main foreground color. I think we just go all white here. When we look at the foreground color. Yeah, it just looks so silly with the blue. I think at this point, we just go white. Like, I don't understand on the foreground color why we wouldn't do something like that. We could bring it back a little bit and go grayish, but I think we're overthinking it. So we have that. What are the other ones? So we have this one, this guy right here. I'm just kind of going through manually because I don't want to overdo like the press color here. I'm going to leave. It's just these foreground colors I want to change. So from the foreground colors, that all looks pretty good to me. Good enough, I think. Yeah. Solid. All right, let's pull it back a little bit. Now it should be a more sensible. It's almost too white. It's kind of weird that the scroll bar follows the color of this. Yeah, F7, 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 I agree. I think we need to bring up the blacks too. The black is too black. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's also a problem. So first up, this one right here, we're going to take these and I think we're going to go, just as chat says, F7, F7, F7. So I trust y'all more than myself. So we're going to go from that bright white to that. And the next one is the blacks. It's too black. So we need to bring this black. What are we thinking for a dark gray? For dark mode, 23, 26, 29. Okay. Drift user knows his stuff. I trust him. 2629. So I think changing those to be not as white and not as black. So this is going to be much easier on the eyes from this aesthetic, if we did it right. Now, these were global replaces. So this is what we had. And now we're going to change it into a compile. WinUtil should have a sensible color scheme. Better. Something's a little off. I think it's the blue. The background of the text here too. This needs to be a gray. This blue needs to be more faded. It's too much of an accent. And the white's a little bit too much to get rid of the glow effects altogether. Possible. So something like, looking at it, so what I would do, the border color right now that we're rocking, if we look at the matrix theme, this is this guy. We only are doing it in 2 spots. I think it's fine here, but the big thing is we need to cull back that opacity. We're gonna go like 0.2, which is almost nothing, and it's gonna make it really dim. And then the next one, if we look here, this one's just too much because you don't have any of those shadow effects or the blur. So on this one, you almost want to go with just a darker version of what we got. So probably maybe here we'll grab Meepoo 0B, like 0B115. That's fine. Or we could do an off-white if we want to go, don't want to go darker than it is. I'm just thinking more of a shadow behind or an outline. Yeah, I think at this point we just do Nord. Should we let Jippity do it for us? What do y'all think? Anyways, let's redo this. This should fix that. The buttons are still going to be too dark though. Yeah, here are the Nord colors. All right, agreed. I like that a lot better. So now you got more of a pop effect instead of that glow business. Still feels a bit off when you got these orange colors kind of popping in. I think it's better than what we had. The buttons are too dark. I mean, this is pretty much a Nord theme as is. Yeah, it's just the buttons that are gross. What do we got? Oh, that's a 00019. Okay. Well, let's take that. We're going to make that pop. So go from that color. I almost want to do almost a lighter gray background. So something in this realm, probably. Bring that down a little bit. Oh, that's a little too dark. Bring that up. Bring that up. I feel like that right there for button background, maybe. Or we could just do Nord theme. But we're so close already, I kind of hate to copy the Nord theme. Let's give Jippity a run, shall we? use nordtheme.com and write all the codes in here. And write the matrix and dark modes, themes to use Nord. What could go wrong? You ready? You ready to see LLMs take our jobs? Well, really, front-end designers. All right, here we go. Let's go. Accept. Let's compile it. All right, here we go. LLMs taking over. Let's see what could go wrong. Be prepared to be amazed. It's not the worst. It's kind of ugly though. Kind of like our other way. Back up the code. Yeah, we're using Git. It's impossible to screw up Git. I think I've proven that time and time again. If I can't screw it up, it can't be screwed up. That's just facts. All right. What was that color code I think we were looking for? 000. What was the button right here? Button color 0019. So we're going to take this one. We only got 2 of these button colors. And I wanted to make this the new button color from that. So we're going to copy that. So this is by hand. You guys saw the Jippity results. Which is better? Human? And I'm no front-end designer, mind you. I'm just a hobbyist. So I can tell you, as a hobbyist, I can beat Jippity in a design war. Which means all the professionals out there don't need to worry. Yeah, it looks better. I like it. What do y'all think? The buttons could probably come up a little bit, but I kind of dig the colors. All but the yellow. Oh, good point. What should we do for the yellow? That's the next thing. All right. Man, that is yellow. What are we thinking? No results. Really? What's close to FC, EC? It would be the label box foreground color. Probably this guy right here. I think that is what we're dealing with. All right. Loop TJ says 81A1C1. Sounds like a good number for me. It may be a little too dark, but let's see. We can type it into our color configurer. Go from that color to that color. Yeah, I like it. This is turned into a design stream. You just never know when you pull up my stream what you're going to get. Like a box of chocolates. All right. Oh, much better. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're going with right there. I like it. It's a considerable improvement. We still got this glow effect, though. We probably need to... I think we ditch the glow effect. I think it's kind of cheesy. Or we go real dark, like a shadow. I think a shadow would be okay. But the rest of it, I think it's just... That's a little bit much. So if we look at that, glow effect should be... I don't think that's going to get us what we need, but close. So if we look at button pressed mouse over, I think it's this mouse over here. Probably like a dark glow is a 3B. I like the Loop TG's suggestion. That's a little bit darker. 3B 4252 4252. I like that background mouse over color. The selected color we're also going to change, and I'm going to grab OM1's suggestion for it, which looks a little bit brighter with a 5881 AC, and I feel like that's going to be good. Let's see what we got here. So mouse over color, let's grab that, save that out. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't want to overdo the blue, so that's why I was kind of like wanting to kind of tone it down a little bit. As much as I love me some blue, I just kind of wanted a little more of a subtle. All right, that was not the glow color I was going for. So what? Did I not change it? Maybe. What the hell? No, it should be there. Let's compile it again. I missed it. Where's that glow? All right, so we got the foreground color. Toggle button on color. Is it this toggle button on color? That could be it. Oh man, I closed out on my color picker. Why do I do that to myself? Man, this color picker is heavy. 65 megs for a color picker. Okay, well, to each his own. Yeah, no, that's just light blue. That's not That's not our color. So where is it getting this orange from? Oh, use VS Code extension color highlight. Helps with previewing text color. Oh, thank you, Drift. I didn't know that was a thing. So it's called color highlight. Was it highlight? Oh, here we go. 7.3 million. Oh, that's cool. What a cool little extension. Thanks, Drift. Yeah, we're removing the orange glow for the sake of humanity. I agree. It's hideous. I was just happy to get some kind of theming in here back when it got submitted. The original theming was actually done by Conti. And I, at the time, when I pulled in my XAML files, it was just bare bones. No glow, no function, nothing. It was just, was what it is. Man, that's cool. What a neat extension. And I do not see an orange in here. So where the hell is it getting my orange from? Right? I like, oh, there is an orange down here. This progress bar though, right? Maybe it's pulling it from there. Let's just grab, let's just paste it. Maybe it's pulling this progress bar for color. Oh, I like that. That extension's cool as could be though. What a time saver. I dig it. Yeah, what I'm thinking is it's like a common color and it's just grabbing it from it. So, it's still there. You tricky SOB. Where is it? Might be hard-coded in. It might be hard-coded in. So it's obviously not here. If we look at our code, you'll notice all the colors, there's no orange anymore. However, if we look at our input XAML, let's look for some RGB. It would be, it's mouse over, right? Yeah, it's mouse over. So let's look at mouse over. So you have mouse over right here, value true, only 12. Mouse over true. I don't see any hard-coded codes, which is good. And button, background, pressed color. This one's background, link, hover, foreground color for the border. Link, hover, foreground color, maybe? Is that in here? Link, hover, foreground color. Yeah, it's right there. Yeah, nope. Button, mouse over. So if you go button, mouse over, button, background, mouse over color is right here, and it's that color. Let's make sure we have that button, mouse over color. I'm just gonna go mouse over. I'm looking at the colors that are assigned. I don't see anything. So here's the button background mouse over color, button background selected color. Oh, I think there's something here. Maybe this getting commented out is causing it to grab the defaults. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're looking at, Caleb, is the button background mouse over color. So I think maybe this getting set like this in the input XAML file and getting commented out is one of the problems. It's a little bit of a stretch. I'm going to relaunch just to double check because it just doesn't feel like, it doesn't look like it's grabbing any. Here, we'll just do a run. So search for gold in the XAML. Yeah. I mean, it has to be getting that from somewhere. I just don't know the exact RGB of it. And I'm just looking with using that highlight extension. I'm just looking through here, looking for that thing. Where the hell is it? Right? There's not much here. If we go to tweaks, why are you like this? 163. All right, let's go to 163. So looking at here, you got template binding background for the pop-up background. Where's that set? None of these are actually set in here anywhere. That shouldn't be it. Okay, line 220 and 231. Okay, here we go. 220. Oh, look for the color gold. Yep, there we go. Yep, Martin got it again. There it is. So what is the definition of this? Selected color or mouse over color? I think we do mouse over color, right? So this value, this value should be, instead of gold, let's just grab it, toss it here and here. So it's just hard coded in there. I feel like that would be okay. I also don't like the massive blur radius we got going on here. Let's bring this to more sensible levels. I want just a very, very shallow blur radius. So it was kind of cutting off, and you could see kind of it being a little funky. Something like this, I think, would aesthetically look a lot better. So you see how it cuts off and it's like just a big brick? That's because the blur radius is just so massive. So now let's do a compile run again. I feel like this would give us something nice looking. Yeah, see? Just something subtle is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for blah. That looks infinitely better. We still have like some cutoff here and here, but I mean, that's more of a padding issue. That can get fixed in a future update. I just want something that's not nasty looking. That looks so much better. Okay, cool. Sorry for going on a... Oh my God, I did this for an hour. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry, my OCD took over and I was like, I gotta fix this. Fix theming. I'm sorry. I was like, I just have to fix this. It has been a source of like, oh, this looks terrible. Yeah, all right. Me and my third grader English. Let's not misspell the commit. Oh, just a slight glow, just subtlety. You know, a lot of it is just more of a subtle glow is what I'm looking for. Now we're looking good. So this doesn't look like there's a glow, but there is actually. So like you go WinUtil, and initially it doesn't look like there's a glow there, right? But there's a slight glow. If you look really closely, it might not show up on the stream from compression. You'll notice there's a very subtle glow, and that's really what a glow should be. It shouldn't be like, bah, bam, in your face, but just you shouldn't notice it, in my opinion. Less is more. It's like a YouTube thumbnail, you know? Just try and articulate what the video is about with no words and not like a whole bunch of crap going on in the background and be like, hey, this is about micro-win, show micro-win, and nothing else. Less is more, and that's perfect. Okay, so we got Chocolatey from Martin in done. We've fixed the theming, which we've been meaning to do forever. And now we can actually get back to getting it done. So much for the 15 minutes, but these are all important things. The next thing was the refactor of the admin elevation. This was a problem. I looked at this last night. It's a great way for the implementation. So how I have always elevated is just like rerunning it as this. What Martin did here is he changed it to do the IRM, the invoke rest method, pulling in all the data into this variable, which is script. And then doing the elevation, figuring out, hey, do they have Windows terminal? Or hey, what's the PowerShell command? If they don't have PowerShell 7, it goes back to Windows PowerShell, which is PowerShell 5. And then it runs it all through here using an invoke expression with the script. It's just simple. It's really easy to understand. Just such a better method for elevation. I love this commit. I saw it last night. I was like, ah, yes, we're going to give it the double approval. There's a couple ones where I go through a couple times and I'm just like, approve. Sometimes I look at it a couple times and I just have gotten in the habit of approving those. So let's pull that down and we're going to do the elevation and we'll show and test that out. So let's pull it down. We have the pull down here. Let's go ahead, compile. Let's just do compile. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to exit out and we're going to launch terminal, just regular terminal. Actually, I want to really throw it through a couple tests here. Let's just do PowerShell, which that's PowerShell 5. Should be ugly. Non-elevated PowerShell. Now we're going to go WinUtil and we're going to run Windows Util. What you got? Give it to me. Oh, perfect. Nice. So then we have that. Let's go ahead, go regular PowerShell now. And we're going to launch it over here. Should have the same thing. Man, that's just a thing of beauty. All right. Let's close all of that. All right, nice. So now we have all that fixed. Admin elevation, that was another one. And then the last one that I really wanted was from Drift User. This is actually implementing the profile that you see here from PowerShell 7. Grabs all the profile logic, and then you can use the utility to install the CTT PowerShell profile that you see me using. grabs from the profile project. Let's give it a whirl. Prove this. We're going to pull down, squash and merge, and pull down the changes. Now, technically, I should switch to the branch and then test the changes, but I'm sure Drift did it good. All right, here we go. Let's test her out. How do you keep motivation maintaining the tool? Donations. So many people have donated that I could never not. Like, if someone's giving me like $10 and saying, hey, we like it, here's an executable, I'm not about to just be like, I'm sorry, thanks for the money, I'm out. It's something to where, yeah, some days it's really aggravating to work on, but you know, it's that. And then also, the whole purpose of the tool and how it was built was Windows aggravates me a lot, and they do really stupid things all the time. And I use Windows in my work. I use it here for gaming. I use it for a lot of things. And having my own tool, I can just pop up and then get a same default on all my Windows systems. I use my own tool for that as well. So it's a twofold there. That's one, thank you all that has supported the project. It's a huge driving force for me, but also the fact that I do use Windows and I want it to run and work the way Windows has for me in the past, which Windows 7 was solid. It's just not the case anymore. The default stock version of Windows 10 and 11 is awful. It's a terrible user experience that Microsoft gives its users, and we can fix it. MacUtil would give you more money donations. Facts. Because there's a lot of things with Mac we could fix from a default standpoint. If someone doesn't beat me to it here in a year, I might do it. All right. We're testing out compile. We're going to just do a compile run. Never touch a Mac. Yeah. Eventually we might make a Mac one. So geez, I keep double clicking and then clicking on that. So let's see, where is that CTT terminal? I think we got to clean up some of this too. The next update, probably not this update, but the next one after it, I'm going to have to cull it down again. We're going to do another cleanup of some of the stuff. Specifically, I think there's some consolidation that can happen with like Edge. We got to redo Edge again because the Edge broke. How Microsoft tell you. All right, now where did we put that? All right, Drift user put the PowerShell profile. Oh, not here. Not over here either. Oh, did I not pull down the changes? Yeah, I didn't pull down the changes. So I ran into... Yeah, I didn't have it pulled. Yeah, I was like, I'm sure it's here somewhere. Yeah. Okay, it's not here. Config. Yeah, so let's try that out. Let's see what that looks like. Ooh, we do have a little bit, this is just a warning, it looks like. Method invocation failed because of WinTools text block. Does not contain to lower. Line 14821 from the utility. Let's take a look at that too. I don't see, oh yeah, profile's up to date. I think that worked. Let's take a look at this too. What's 14821 give us? Do a quick reference. Then we'll find it in. So let's say you get an error like that. 14281. This is going to be, looks like the input XAML. To lower. Was it 281? 14821. I was like, nah, that didn't look right. So let's go 14821. Checkbox content to lower. All right, let's just go. Where's that at? That's going to be in our main. So this is the corresponding spot for the compilation. Let's see what old Jippity tells us. These are search errors. So if we got that up, let's put this to the side and we're going to pull the tool over here. So let's say we have that. I gotcha. So as you're typing stuff in, let's say we are over on the install tab, PowerShell. It works, but it gives a nice little thing. Do we want to suppress that so I don't get a bunch of emails? Read string and change to lower. All right, let's see what we got. Read string and change to lower. Here's an updated code snippet. This change ensures the content is treated as a string before calling to lower. So if we apply that, text to search right here, I'm not going to do apply because sometimes when you do applies on big files like this, it changes crap that you don't want to change. So if we change that to a string, let's see if that compiles and fixes our message. So let's close that out. Let's do a compile and then WinUtil. So now we have that. Let's drop that over and that over here. So now when we type PowerShell, it's still doing it. And it's no longer actually filtering it over here. Yeah, that didn't work. All right, I'll revert those changes. It's not the end of the world. It's just an extra. We could probably maybe suppress the error. What's the best way to do that? Maybe a try catch. Error action silently continue. So let's say we have that checkbox contains. Where is it submitting? It's right in here for the active applications. Should be a hot reel instead of compiling every time. Text to search already contains a to lower. So if this is here, then we should be able to just take out the to lower here, and then it should be just fine. If text to search already has that, we shouldn't need to specify it here. So let's save this, do a compile run, and then throw that over here, and that over here, and we'll do power. Uh-oh. Malfunction, Will Robinson, malfunction. Okay. Abort. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Knight. I'll take a look at that PowerShell profile. Some cool functions. All right. I'll mess with this later. It's not the end of the world. It just has some verbose output when you're typing in the search box. Oh, do I need to? Oh, I gotcha. That's what. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm such a goob. Okay. Let's try that compile run one more time. One more try. If it doesn't work this time, I'm just going to revert. We'll fix it later. All right. So we have that. That's weird. Yeah, that's not working right. Yeah. For whatever reason, it does not like that one bit. All right, cool. I'm going to leave it for now. No change to be made. We do have some fixes from that compile. We're just going to push out that. Make sure we have no pulls here. I don't think there is. All right, we're all up to date. Okay, great. We're solid. I like all those changes. I think from pull requests on WinUtil, that's what we're going to leave for today. When I start running into something like that, I'm like, you know what? Let's tackle that later. Sometimes a fresh set of eyes does wonders for code. Like when you hit something, best to move on. Yeah, this last time I did remove the dot to lower with the hyphens. So we did get it, but didn't quite get it. Still had some issues there. That's okay though. All right, so we got the update there. Pull requests down to 8. Most of these are drafts. A few different ones to look at. Oh, Rux, you got one for what? Handling XAML to improve maintainability. What do we have here? Since you're in chat, let's give it a whirl. So read the entire XAML file into a single string, preserving line breaks. Add the XAML content to the script content using a here string. That seems like all good ideas. So we don't have to escape out certain symbols and things of that nature. Let's give it a whirl. Skill issue. True. It's definitely a skill issue, right? I love it. All right, let's give it a go here. For this one, since it's part of the compile script, I think I will test it. Because it's such an integral part of Windows utility. We're all up to date. I'm just going to come on over here. We're going to grab that compilation change. So here's the change to the compile files, doing the here string and grabbing it all into this without having to change. Because before we were doing a replace of the single hyphen with a double hyphen, so it escaped it out. That's how you escape a hyphen in PowerShell. And instead of doing that, he's grabbing it into a raw format into here and then doing it as a here string. So you shouldn't run into any issues. Will this work? I don't know. Makes logical sense on the here string, but let's go. So now if we come back over into terminal with admin, go into WinUtil, you'll notice we are now on the PR 2701. We've committed over 1,000 pull requests on this project. The fact this thing still functions after 1,000 pull requests is kind of amazing, especially since the early days. I really didn't know what I was doing. You know, it's kind of wild that this still works, because in the early days on GitHub, I mean, I understood the purpose of it, but I didn't really understand how Git worked. And I was just kind of pounding around like a little monkey. I was just like, ooh, someone submitted something, except. Oh, that's actually how the original Arch Titus got nuked, was by my inability to review the code properly and just accept every PR. Accepting PRs is a hard thing. All right, so we're going to do a compile. No errors. WinUtil. Nice. That looks good. Man, I got to say, our new theme is so much better than the old one. God, I didn't realize how ugly this is. Anyways, yes, your here string does work properly. Approved. Let's do one more compile. We'll do a compile run this time. I don't think this will really matter, but compile run instead of a compile and then running the PS1. What about the light mode GUI? Oh, we do need to look at that. I think there's actually a PR open right now with theming where we're talking about doing live changes to the theme. All right, so that is beautiful. Thank you, Rux. We did our tests, looking good. Approved. Works great. Approve. Squash and merge. I don't really do a lot of the pull requests directly from here. All right, successfully merged. How do you switch back to the main branch? You just click here and go main. Nice. All right, I like it. So now let's rerun. I'm still getting used to using the extension directly in Cursor. I like it though. Let's do a git pull. Let's grab any of the compile changes. Compile run. And now you get to see the beautiful theme we laid out today. Syntax highlighting use breaks after the XMLs. Very cool. Yeah, so that's much better. Ooh, I like it, man. It's just like these little increments here. Like every time we sit down and look at this and then have all these different PRs from all these really gifted people just kind of all come in, and then we're able to go, okay, that works, that doesn't work, okay, and then you kind of put them all together. I think you just advance so quickly. I think a lot of these open source projects, you can do so much in so little time with that you almost have to for like a Windows utility. I don't know how you could possibly sell a tool like as a AAA company or something, because the development speed where Windows breaks things is so fast. Like the remove edge option was only working for almost 2 to 3 weeks before Microsoft patched the region change that we were using to uninstall Edge. So it was only available and only worked for 2 weeks. And then all that development time we spent developing the removal of Edge is pretty much wasted because Microsoft patched that out. It's kind of wild. That's why you don't really see, I think, too many Windows utilities on the market anymore, because it's almost impossible to maintain them. So very cool. What was this Force one? We also had another one from Rux. I think this will be our last one for the WinUtil for the day. This allows pre-processing to properly detect hidden files in the directory. This prevents errors I saw when running compile, where the files got git attributes and git ignore are not detected and caused compile to exit. Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Wouldn't you want the pre-processing to ignore the git ignore and all that though? We wouldn't want them to do. I guess it really doesn't matter. I guess for maybe standardization, you would want it to go through your git ignore and git attributes. But I'm not sure you'd really want it to change anything there. Yeah, we do ignore them in the code though. Okay. It was just that it was making it exit. I got you. I got what you're saying. Yeah, I don't see any issue with that. So we're just adding a force with the get child item, and then a force with the get files right here. And then finally on the files to check. That's fine. I don't see an issue with that. I think we can just pull this directly into main. We'll do one final run through here with the compile. And I don't see an issue with this. Oh, yeah. That's what we're trying to do, gaming, with the look and theming here, is we're trying to make a live theme choose where it doesn't just detect dark or light mode. So you can actually pick the theme of the CT2 utility. You can see it here. I saw it on the pull request the other day. Yeah, Martin's looking at it right now. So this would actually allow this, this one right here. So I think he's working through a little bug, and he's currently in draft form, but he's chipping away at that. Look at all those commits. So I'm going to finish with the review today and check back in on this PR here in a bit, because I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, so a lot of these things have already been thought of by other contributors, and they're already working on fixes, which is awesome. So let's go over to WinUtil again. Let's do a git pull. So we have it. Let's do a compile. Make sure this doesn't change too much. Nothing's changed. We'll do a compile run. And Bob is your mother's brother. We are done. I think that is a lot of sweet status. Now we can go over to the Linux utility. Let's give this a restart too. Let that update. So let's come on the WinUtil is looking so good. Chef's kiss. Look at this. We've got this down. We're only at 6 on the PRs. Issues is around the 40s, which is great. Where are we at on stars? I think we're getting close to the PowerShell core language. Oh, look at this. We're climbing up there. We're so close. We got Scoop at #1. They just overtook the PowerShell core language, and we're hot on the heels. Look at this. We're all within 100 stars of each other. Wow. That's insane. Top 3. So at the rate we're climbing to, if you really want to see, what was it, get stars? What is it, GitHub stars history, I guess? Yeah, get star dash history, that's it. So if you go Chris, Titus Tech, WinUtil, so you have that, right? You can see when I started really donating at least like 20, 30 hours a week was right here when I made that video, like, I'm a developer now. And I just like every day, like my homepage on several computers is just like WinUtil. And as soon as we did that and we started developing more for it, it just has gone off the chain. Oh, so good. Let's see. Do they have a dark theme in here? It looks kind of weird on dark mode. Oh, well. So compare that to, let's just grab Scoop, right? Scoop installer dash Scoop. Because PowerShell core has been around for a while. We can go .NET/core. .NET/core. You can see, so they issued the new .NET core, or the PowerShell core, back here in 2015 when it came out with about Windows 10 era, and we've almost caught up to it. And then, sorry for the light theme, burning your retinas out. Let's look at Scoop, because Scoop came out not too long ago too, I think. Scoop installer Scoop. It's like a chocolatey alternative. I've used it a bit. Installer Scoop. When did it come out? Okay, so Scoop installer is from 2003, it looks like, is when that project was born. So it kind of came out, and it's been gaining a lot of traction lately too. So these are the top PowerShell projects in the world, which is kind of crazy. That's nuts. That's just crazy. All right, now that I've completely burned y'all's retinas out, you bunch of vampires, we can get back to it. That's just neat. What's a line timeline? Oh, wow. Yeah, so this is the timeline. 3 years, 6 years, 10 years. I guess those two projects have been out for more than 10 years, and our WinUtil's been out since it's only 2.5 years old. Now, I originally ported this over from Win10 script, so a little different. But man, the amount of growth we've seen has just been insane. You bunch of babies. Gosh, you'd never make it in IT. Oh man, wait till you see a BIOS screen on a server. Blind your damn retinas out on that, man. Are you going to theme out LinUtil like WinUtil? There's a couple things I want to talk about with LinUtil. We can transition over there and kind of go through a couple of my thought processes here. Because a lot of people are really keen on doing like documentation or doing like a GUI for it. And I mean, I love it. I love all those ideas, but we're still just kind of working on the foundation of a lot of LinUtil and making sure it's structured exactly how we want it to before you build anything on top of it. Because once you start putting a GUI on something, it becomes so much harder to change the foundation that GUI is built on. So until I get the structure exactly how I like it, and I feel like, oh gosh, okay, I'm just jamming out more scripts and improving things, and it's just perfect exactly how I want it, I don't think we're going to really expand on a lot of the other GUI elements and really go crazy with that section of it until I feel like the foundation's perfect, where we're not making a lot more Rust-based changes. A lot of the code won't change very much. There's a good PR I kind of want to look at today that's probably going to break a lot of other PRs. And that would probably be, well, I wanted to look at, I want to say NNYY. He does a lot of cool PRs that I've been looking at lately as well. And there's just, oh my gosh, there's just so much here. So much to look at. This was a big one I wanted to look at too from LJ, splitting the TUI and core crates, which I think is kind of important. So instead of bearing the commands in the source commands directory, it'd be in its own like tabs directory. I like that idea for making it easier. Yeah. 43 PRs, man. That's a lot. That is quite a bit. Now, if we look at some of these, this is 75%. Let's close that. Let's dump on some of these real fast. Clap 86%. What's the change log? Style requirements, augmented groups, improve error message, unsupported fields, commits. That looks good to me. I don't think that would cause any issue. There's just so much changing in Rust. That's one of the downside to using Rust, I think, as a project base, is the crates do change and need to be updated often. Let's first go over to LinUtil. We're going to pull it down. What do we have outstanding? Cargo lock. That doesn't matter. Let's just do a run real fast. So we're all up to date. I want to grab this and test it out. So this is PR 321. Chris, after 5 PRs. Okay, I'm done for the day. Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to happen. Well, also, I think one of these PRs is going to break everything. Just the nature of it. When you have like a foundation shift in a PR where like you accept a PR that has like pushes a project forward, but fundamentally changes its structure, all the other existing PRs kind of break because they don't see that foundational shift, and then you can't squash and merge those at all because they're still on the old structure. So even though we have 40 PRs, after we do probably 5 PRs today, all the other ones are not going to be able to get merged unless I go through line by line and change the PR. It just depends on what those PRs. We might want to do that. We may not want to do it and be like, yeah, we'll just tackle that later. By the way, Ratatat UI updated to 0.28.1 causes issues. Actually, Dark Knight, we can actually look at that. We can look at... Let's come back to this. It's just a Pindabot. I did see a PR, and I want to say it was NNYY that did it, and it did update, and he changed the Ratatat UI and cross term to 2.8. Oh, no, it was Adam. Adam did this change. And this should fix a few things. Let's take a peek. This mentioned in this pull request. How was it mentioned? Let's see. Pull request introduces several new features to LinUtil. Automated Git configuration script. Script helps users set up Git by configuring the GitHub email. SSH. Oh, I don't like that. I think you should just use GitHub CLI. Nerd fonts installer script. We're already doing this in some of the other sections of it. Maybe we could do like a common installer. Bootloader switching and backup scripts. Probably needs to be done. Cosmic desktop installation script. Yeah, you know, I do like Cosmic, even though it's pretty rough days and there are a lot of bugs. Okay. So what do we have? Why are you removing cargo lock? Well, it looks like this PR is doing too much. Just looking at the commit commissions, let's see what we got. You're adding too many things into one PR. I recommend splitting up into multiple. Yeah. Yikes. We can look at, we'll go ahead and improve and run the unit test, but let's see what he's changing. Oh, lordy. See, I don't agree with this. The git config, I don't think you should do it this method. Should be done through the GitHub CLI using gh command with auth. Using this old school way and launching an agent and all that, it's just messy. This is cool though. With the nerd font script, maybe. I don't know if I actually want to go in and clean this up though. That's just like one of them things. Please explain WinUtil and LinUtil. The whole purpose of these utilities are to make every life for everyday users faster and easier by consolidating complex tasks into simple ones. So let's say you want to add nerd fonts. You just click nerd fonts install, press enter. It gets them, installs them, saves you time. That's the whole purpose of this. Same with WinUtil. The whole idea behind WinUtil is like, hey, you want to install certain programs on all your Windows installs? Just do that, hit tweaks, install them. That's what these tools are meant to do. Just save you time and get them installed. And honestly, really, I made them to save me time. And then I was just like, oh, you guys want that feature? Sure. But initially, it all started out with just me going, I want to make this faster for myself. Did you see my shortcuts PR? Oh, let's see. Just Linux user. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take this PR. I don't think I will accept that. Just don't like that one addition. All right, let's see. Just Linux. Jeez, well, that's a lot of PRs, man. That'd be a lot of PRs. Oh, we do need to add tags. I bet that's an easy one. Oh, yeah. Labels bug, enhancements, feature requests. That's just for issues. So it can start labeling and tagging things. So the cool thing about tagging both issues and PRs is when we go to do a version, it'll grab in all those and say, here's the bugs, here's the features, and then it separates them out. So it's much easier to read improvements. That's awesome. I don't even need to check that. I've already done that multiple times on multiple projects. Okay. Jeez, I think I should just use the search command. Here we go. See shortcuts PR. Dynamic hotkey list. Huh. That's kind of cool. A lot of people were mentioning they didn't know what the hell did what. So what this does is it gives it an item list. So a complete noob could launch it and go, oh, that's how I close. That's how I change the theme. That's how I do all that. Interesting. Man, that looks good. What was that? 285. I'd rather it just be called Linux utility. Plastered my name over it. That's nice, but I think really it's the contributors that do this that need more credit than me. The Titus title, that's hilarious. I'm flattered, but yeah, I think we might remove that, but we can always change it. I do love this PR though. The dynamic hotkey really needs to be done, and that will help a lot of users. Let's see where we got. So 293 is what we got here. Okay, sweet. Let's go over here. You know what? I'm just gonna grab cursor. We're gonna do our checkouts over here. Kind of like working on the PRs on cursor. Yeah, I think the other thing, Igor, about Linux that kind of bothers me is there's so many blog posts that are so dated and people follow them blindly. Hell, I probably even have a couple blog posts that are no longer relevant. And when you copy and paste those and they're not part of like a living, breathing projects, a lot of times they'll just error out. And that's very frustrating for a new user because you're like, oh, here's this solution, but the solution no longer works because things got depreciated and no longer valid, and you're like, crap, okay. Yeah, or deprecated. Yeah, all those things. Yeah, make a list. See what people know, what to work on and you get results. Make a list. Yeah, and the cool thing about that video too was one of the big things what Just Linux User made was in the comments section, people are like, I have no idea what the hell this does or how to get around. So these hints would be a large improvement over what we've been doing. So switching back to Linux utility. I thought we already pulled this down. Did we not? Oh, yeah, we didn't. Okay. Yeah, we just did a merge. So let's grab this. Yeah, so many PRs. And what we're going to do, create dynamic hotkeys. God, I love this. To load. Great. Let's check it out. 293 during the checkout. Let's do a cargo run just to see it live. So if we go into here, you can see how that changes. Let's change theming. Oh, okay. Yeah. Forward. Oh, okay. L, Alt, right, and enter both runs the selected command. Okay. It's also resizable. Let's see what else we got. So you got focus action list. Let's say we preview that. Don't see. I was wondering if we could resize our preview, but no. Seeing if I see anything else here that we should test out. Control C. Control C doesn't work, but Q does. Okay. I like it. So let's bring that in. Man, that's crazy. Oh, it responds to the resizing of the terminal. I got you. Responsive. I got you. Yeah, that is awesome, man. I absolutely love that. It's kind of cool. I was just looking through some of the responses here from LJ too. There's just so much to learn from a lot of these PRs. That's why I'm a little bit quiet. I'm just trying to read and kind of take it in. Okay. Good stuff, man. So cool. That's just wild. I was looking at another script that we did just the other day when we were in, I think it was Hyperland doing the ML4W docs, and it was written with the Bubble T Go libraries. And at the end of the script, I was like, ours is better. I got that impression. Like I got done with it. I was like, yeah, we made the right choice using Rust with Ratatouille. I didn't think that was what would happen after a couple months of going through it. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. All right, man, you guys are really chatting. Man, I love it. Let's merge it. Let's approve. Love this. Absolutely needed. Oh, I approved it already. Oh, well. Merge it. Great. You have uncommitted changes. Wait, what? Did I fat finger something? Please tell me I didn't. Sometimes I like using GitHub Desktop just to see. One thing I haven't noticed, and maybe you could fill me in on this. Why does the cargo lock, it doesn't ever seem like it syncs up? Like if you use cargo run and I use cargo run, we end up with differing cargo.lock containers. Why is that? Should I omit that using like a git ignore? Should I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? So that's the one thing I noticed as everyone's kind of touching when it comes to cargo lock, that does kind of fall over. I don't think it should be something that be tracked. Is it needed? The thing about cargo lock, it's very version specific. So my version of Rust, it might differ from your version of Rust. It'll spit out two very different cargo lock versions. It's not really needed. Yeah, that's kind of my thought process too. But because it should self-generate it every time. You don't, it should be generated based off of like the config.toml or cargo.toml. I can't remember. Whatever the toml file is with all this stuff. So what about just adding it to git ignore? Wouldn't that be a better way to address this? Because I would just hate for people to trip over that. What do we got? Casper says, for bin, yes, lib, no. Some combination of small version dependencies might break LinUtil. Okay. Yeah, if we ignore it, we could delete the previous instances and then have it rebuild and then update the cache that's used to issue the release. It is already a GitHub action, so we're already doing it that way to where the cargo.lock should be generated. Should be being the keyword there. All right, well, let's just ignore it. We'll discard the changes. I'm going to just add cargo lock to the git ignore. Let's update that. Cargo lock. Discard. Come on. Damn, it just run in the background. Oh, is it running? No, it's not running. Huh, whatever. That's so strange. I'm just gonna merge it over here. I'm gonna just add it to the get ignore. I think it's fine. That way it just doesn't track the changes. We could probably need to delete it from the main one as well, so people don't pull down our cargo.lock. Yeah, I'll do that real fast. Let's merge this, because we should be able to merge. Oh man, all right, let's merge it. Let's confirm and merge. And then what I want to do over here, let's switch over to main. Let's pull those changes. And then let's remove cargo.lock. So we're just cannot trash. Yeah, Fat figured that one. Okay. So now we have that. Let's just lazy G remove cargo.lock from the repo. That's going to push out, get rid of it. Boom, done. So now I don't have to worry about that. Also, you see how we have this stupid Dependabot one? It's from the cargo lock. There was like an old rim, it was like a recursive remove directories cargo container we used briefly, and it was stuck in the cargo. And also kind of a reason why I wanted to ignore the changes to cargo.lock and then submit those. Yeah. So I think we ignore cargo.lock, we delete it from the repo, and then when it goes to build the release, all that's just done independently. Now we are still submitting the release into the main repo, which technically I'm not sure we should be doing. Maybe we only create that for the releases itself and then push that to the releases and then dump everything so it's not actually posting it to like the raw GitHub. I don't know. I'm still a little bit hazy there, so I haven't really done it. But I think that's what I ended up doing with WinUtil. Why did you use remove versus get remove? I guess I didn't need to do remove. Get remove probably would have been better. But oh well, it doesn't matter. It should still work. Or maybe it does matter. Yep. Leave it to me to break something. That's okay. It's all a learning experience. Now, if I'm a betting man, what if we just do like a Rust update? So the thing about Rust, it really is version specific, especially when you have these giant like community run distros, repos like this, to where if I'm running a little bit out of date, sometimes this can cause issues. So let's do a cargo run again. Still have an issue. Okay. I think you messed something up. I just did a fresh clone and it works. Fair. Could not do prior. Oh no, we'll fix it. It's not a big deal. These types of things will happen. What? Now, the Ratatouille one, we did have another PR for pushing it to 28 from 27. Obviously, I'm not going to merge that just yet. I would like to fix these things. What could cause this? Probably a version mismatch of some sort, and then me deleting the cargo.lock. I could just revert, but before I do a revert, I kind of want to see if I can't fix it, because I would like to leave the project in this current state. Otherwise, I feel like we're just going to run into this again in the future, and I would prefer not to. So if we look at that, let's see what this gives us. We're going to go into running command.rs. Let's go into running command, feed this, see what, oh, we see we already have the errors here too. So let's look at the errors. Sudo error. Widget is not satisfied in the following other types. Implement trait widget. Required by bound. Introduced by this call. Ghost TTY Eternal. Is it finally out of alpha? I wonder. Yeah, that didn't do anything. Let's see if we can't get a little more of an explanation. Seems there is a type mismatch in the block method call. The pseudo terminal new screen block method expects Ratatouille widgets block, but it's receiving Ratatouille widgets block. This is likely due to a change in Ratatouille's library API. To fix this, update the import of the usages block. Here's how you can modify the code. So this is existing inputs under the use Ratatouille right here. it wants to change block block right here to this. Now, if I'm familiar, there was a PR specifically over Ratatouille 28. I want to look at that PR real fast because I want to say that was relevant to this. Might not be, but I want to say it was. Yes, right here by Adam. And what was he changing? So he was bumping the Ratatouille to 28.1 and the layout. No, that wasn't changing anything. He wasn't changing anything with the Ratatouille block or borders right here. That's interesting, man. In feature, which utility is hard to maintain? Linux or Windows version utilities? Linux probably, for sure. I really like the Linux portion because there's a lot here that I don't understand. And a lot of it is a learning experience for me, which is great. And the cool thing about GitHub is we can always just revert. So I'm not really worried about it. I just kind of want to understand some of the changes. Like, why would it want to throw a block in front of the block here? That seems so wrong in like so many different ways. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the case. We could try to do like a config toml and push it to 28.1. Maybe that version. Like if you look at the cargo toml, let's go 28.1. And oh, actually, you know what? I don't want to merge that PR because it might be good. So this would cause issues, but let's see. We might just take it manually, do some of this, and the cross term 28.1. And it looks like all at once is that. I don't think that would fix it though. I think this would cause even more problems. Shouldn't have got rid of the cargo lock. Fair. Anyways, it's fine. Let's try before we change any of the code. What I also want to kind of try right here. Actually, let's just take this out, right? So here's what we have. We haven't really changed anything. We have our cargo lock here, but this is wrong, right? What if we take the cargo lock, let's go commits, and I'm going to just pull, let's just grab it from here, right? Let's just browse these files. Let's grab this cargo lock. We're just going to copy it, come back over here. Let's just take all this, paste it in, go, okay, cool. Cargo lock that. So changing that cargo lock a little bit. And then if we run it, why? So obviously grabbing the old cargo lock works, but why? Change Ratatouille to 28.1. Oh, were you running 28.1? It must have 2 in there. But so what I'm wondering is, and this is just my noob Rust brain thinking out loud. Cargo lock, right? When you remove cargo lock, shouldn't it, like on a cargo run, rebuild the cargo and then give you pretty much exactly what you need? It doesn't. But why? Like, what's so special? Like, can I never delete the cargo.lock? Because all the stuff in cargo lock should be represented in the program itself through toml, in my mind. Obviously, that's not the case. So there's still pieces from the old version of Ratatouille that it's using, even though the code has been updated to, well, apparently the code hasn't been updated, but maybe, so there's different versions that cargo lock is needing to utilize. That is so strange. It should be TUI term broke compatibility without a version change. Okay. So if I go cargo update Ratatouille, there are multiple Ratatouille packages in your project. The specification of Ratatouille is ambiguous. Please rerun the command with one of the specifications. And let's say we grab this one. Oh, well, dirt. So now you update the crate index. And if we go cargo run again, still problem. So maybe it's the 27.1. I know I can fix this, but it's just still same problem. And maybe it was the TUI term also being a problem. Like you see the error TUI term there, and then you have Ratatouille over here. Interesting. I posted a link about that. Okay, let me look at this. Sorry, I don't want to just fix it and move on, because I want to know why cargo lock is so sensitive because I want to delete it. I don't want to leave it in there if I don't have to. Apparently I have to, but okay. So for years, the cargo team encouraged Rust developers to commit their cargo locks files for packages with binaries, but not the libraries. We now recommend people do what is best for their project. To help people make a decision, we do include some considerations for committing cargo.lock as a starting point in the decision making. To align with the starting point, cargo new will no longer ignore cargo.lock for libraries as of nightly 8/24/23. So within the last year, basically. The old guidance ensured libraries tested their latest dependencies, which helped us keep quality high within Rust's package ecosystem by ensuring issues, especially backwards compatibility issues, which quickly found and addressed. While the extra testing was not exhaustive, we believe it helped foster a culture of quality in this nuanced ecosystem. Just seems weird to me is all. All right, why the change? A lot has changed in Rust since the guideline was written. Rust has shifted from being a language for early adopters to being a more mainstream, and we should be mindful of the onboarding experience and those new to Rust developers. Thanks. And also this wider adoption, it isn't always practical to assume everyone is using the latest Rust release. No shit. And the community has been working through how to maintain support for minimum supported Rust versions. Part of this maintenance, maintaining an instance of your dependency tree that can build within the MSRV. A lock file is an appropriate way to pin versions of your project that can validate with the MSRV, and we found people were instead putting upper bounds on their version requirements due to the strength of the prior guideline, despite likely being a worse solution. The wider software development ecosystem has changed a lot since the intervening time. This is making a lot more sense now. Okay, we also have products like Dependabot and Renovate. I haven't used Renovate. That has opened up options about having version control inside of cargo.lock and to test newer dependencies. Developers could have scheduled jobs that first run cargo update. This also has bots that regularly update the cargo lock in PRs, ensuring they pass continuous before being merged. Okay, so essentially our cargo versions differed, therefore they have different cargo locks generations, and cargo lock itself just kind of says, hey, this guy's using Rust version whatever, and then this guy's using Rust version whatever. They both can build the solution as long as it's somewhat relevant or somewhat newer, and they both will build properly. However, if you just constantly delete the cargo lock, everyone needs to be using the same version, otherwise shit breaks. Just Linux user says, Cargo TUI depends on a newer version of Ratatouille, but it forgot to change it to the version. So Cargo Toml doesn't see the difference to the exact Cargo TUI version and a newer version with the same version, but now you depend on the older Ratatouille and the TUI term on a newer one. And without cargo lock pinning the TUI term to the older version, it updates and downloads a newer dependency on Ratatouille, which is in conflict with the older Ratatouille that we depend on directly. Yeah, okay. That's wild. So long story short, don't delete cargo lock. If multiple people are working on the project, multiple versions of Rust will probably end up getting used, which will cause all kinds of dependency issues, as we've seen. Interesting. Wow. Let's just do a clean, right? So let's clean all that out. Let's do .gitignore. Let's delete that. Let's grab this version of cargo lock from earlier, and let's just toss it into here. Sure. Close that out. Do a cargo run. Rebuild. Spit it out properly. Huh. Oh, don't do that. Oh, you say just update the 28.1 and change the Ratatouille UI. Okay, we can do that too. Let's see what is being, like, let's see what changes this makes. This is all just basic. This does compile and it works on my machine. So I would say we commit this, right? This will actually re-add cargo lock. So we just have backwards compatibility, right? No? You say no to this? Hyperland just kept crashing on me. So that's why I didn't do it. With the new update. Okay, let's try it. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but all right, let's just discard. I do feel like cargo lock is needed though. All right, let's get rid of cargo lock. Trash it, right? Now let's go cargo toml. And we're just gonna go to Ratatouille. Let's come on over here. Let's go .1, right? So we update Ratatouille to 28.1. We're gonna go clean it. Let's just clean the project. Let's go with let's go cargo check, right? It'll build and check. So a couple warnings here. Now the set cursor and frame size will actually probably get fixed with this other PR. So watch this. So we got our run. This will build even with the warnings, but we're about to take care of that. So that does work. Why did I close my GitHub? I like GitHub Desktop just because it visualizes it all for me. This would rebuild the cargo lock properly, right? So all this looks good. Update Ratatouille and cargo lock. We're gonna leave cargo lock in here, and we're just basically removing it from git ignore and adding it back into the project. Cross term also needs to be updated here, LoJack. Agreed. The reason why I didn't change this is because the next PR we're going to look at is fixing those warnings and also updating cross term. Carter says no cargo lock. From the blog post we just read, the Rust team says they suggest cargo lock being left in for collaborative projects because not everyone's going to be using the same Rust version, which would lead to build errors for the people using older versions that isn't on the latest version. Cargo lock should be able to pin those versions so older versions of Rust can still build the project without doing like a Rust up update. So that's why cargo lock is left in based on that blog. At least that's how I understood it. If that is incorrect, please correct me now. But that's how I gathered from, or what I gathered from that blog post. Might be wrong. And if it is, let me know. I love being wrong because that means I get to learn something. So let's look at that cross term. The next PR I want to grab is specifically right here from Adam. Adam says he's updating the set cursor in here and adding Ratatouille and cross term. You can see these changes directly here. Cross term, Ratatouille, adding the position layout, changing this, and doing the frame area right here. This looks good to me. Now we can switch over here and check it out, but I kind of want to see. Okay, now we're having to fix this. So here's the main. Okay. We're going to run into some, how many, 17 conflicts, man. I ain't doing that through the web. Get rid of it. We have to have it based on the blog post from what I see, because everyone's going to run into problems eventually. Oh, you guys aren't going to like what I'm about to do. Look away. Look away. It's a skill issue. I think it's needed. Yes, I think we could force everybody to use the latest Rust version, but Rust moves so darn fast. I think it's going to cause problems. That's my thought process. So what I'm going to do here, there's definitely a better way of doing this, by the way. It's just my thought process. Let's just go here. You know what? Just going to view this cargo lock real fast. So what I'm doing is just kind of the slight rebase of cargo lock. Just tweaking it a little bit. Don't worry. It'll be fine. It's going to make this PR just be so much better. All right, now let's go here and see how we merge. All right, now let's reserve conflicts. Is it 17 still? 14 conflicts now. Just regenerate it. Okay. I hate cargo lock. Man, what a kind of a shit show this is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's all right. That's all right. What was the dependencies here? What's with the vertical chain? Oh. Yeah, that was from you. From the split, instead of frame area, this should be the vertical 0, I think, is you're doing. So technically, we should be getting rid of frame area and accepting the bottom one, right? Yeah, use vertical 0. That's what I was thinking. So that That's good. All right, let's mark that as resolved. Yeah, okay, that's resolved. So then we just have the cargo lock shenanigans to deal with. And we don't want to manually edit a cargo lock. Oh, this is annoying. AFK 2 seconds while I think about this. I'm going to use the quick bio break. All right, be right back. Give me one quick second. Dude, look at me, super early. Woo! All right. All right, I had time to think about it. I needed to take a little bit of a step back, as we do. This is going to make all PRs a nightmare. Because cargo lock will change all over the damn place, and it would make maintaining it much harder. Even though it says to go ahead and commit it to a project. I feel like that would work with a couple developers or contributors, but since we have like 20, that's just going to be a nightmare to do the PRs. Instead, probably telling people to just make sure they do a Rust up update before starting any development would probably be a better solution long term. And I think that would be the solution here. Now, if you're a developer, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, it's kind of wild with the change in guidance from Rust saying commit the lock files. But if you have a bigger project and you have a bunch of contributors, those lock files will cause just a metric ton of merge conflicts, which is a massive problem. So I feel that the people doing this, that's fine with a couple people, but once you get tons of contributors, it just does not work. So why'd the rustlang.org people suggest this? That's aggravating. But that's my thought process. How far off am I on that regard? The point of lock is everyone gets the same stuff. My 2 cents, leave cargo lock alone, freeze cargo bin where they are. But if I leave cargo lock alone and just leave it in the repo, it's going to cause a shit ton of merge conflicts. What do I do about that? Yeah, we can include Rust up update into the Linux utility. I think that's smart. I think the best of both worlds, the contributors don't add cargo.lock to the PRs. You just update it yourself periodically. Ooh, I like that idea. I am eating a Kind bar. It's gluten-free. Tastes like it's gluten-free. I'm just hungry. Rust update won't fix it. It'll just cause problems. Man, I really don't like any of these solutions. Okay, I like this. What's a big Rust project? How do they do it? I like that. Let's look at other people. What are they doing? You know, I know Cosmic's a pretty big one in the Linux realm. Cosmic Desktop, is that here? I know that's Rust. How the hell are they covering it? Okay, let's do Compositor. Okay. He does submit a cargo lock. So cargo lock is not part of gitignore. It was updated last month. Last commit was last month. Okay. I guess just tell people not to submit the cargo lock, maybe? I'm just trying to think of how do we avoid so many merge conflicts if we were tracking cargo lock? So one person does the actual cargo lock commits. Ugh. Yeah, I will say that's probably one of the most aggravating things about Rust is it's so new and it's changing so often that it does cause some issues. Time to rewrite everything in C. That's not happening. That's in many crates and extra stuff from Rust we're using. That would just take a century. Okay. All right, we'll add it to gitignore and then just let's see, how are they doing it? .cargo. They do not omit cargo lock in here. But the files, it's just interesting is all. Yeah, good projects actually manage it properly, but we are not them. No, we're not. Okay. That is interesting. The problem, so here's another issue I have. So we have so many pull requests, and when looking at the Rust code, as soon as I start grabbing more than 1 or 2 PRs that are changing the Rust code, yeah, if we're gonna just run into multiple merge conflicts. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Man, I don't like that at all. I hate ignoring it, but at the same time, we have just so many contributors. This is just going to cause so many issues. So I think we have to ignore it. Maybe in the future, we don't. But for now, I don't see a way around this of just ignoring it. Man, this is such a hot topic, such a thing to debate as far as the cargo lock. Yeah, it's something that I definitely sitting here taking my time with, and I going back and forth in my head about it, much like chat is doing it back and forth with themselves as well. So when cargo.toml is changed, cargo lock will need to be updated. Man, I feel like it's a social issue, not a functional one. Well, it's a collaborative issue is what it is. Like, the issue with, so let's look at the pros and cons of both. Let's just lay it out here. Cargo lock is used so different versions of Rust can basically talk to each other. It's able to pin crates, the versions of the crates, and make sure that everyone can build a project, right? That's my understanding of cargo lock. So having it is nice when you have multiple contributors building things. And honestly, it'd all end here if that were 100% true with no downside. The big downside here is with different versions of Rust out there and compiling them, you're going to run into different cargo.locks, especially when you have different branches of the same project. So let's say you make a PR and you do a cargo build, it's going to regenerate that cargo lock, and it's going to be far different than the one that's on the main branch. And that's going to, when submitted to GitHub, is going to cause a ton of merge conflicts. The more contributors there are, the more merge conflicts you're going to have to deal with. And hence, this is the predicament that we run into. It's kind of a downside of Rust for sure. Yeah, get all the PRs to drop cargo lock changes. Different versions of crates, but not necessarily normal versions, exact versions. But the crates should keep compatibility using Symver, but they don't always do. You can't specify multiple versions of cargo lock because cargo lock is a singular file. So when you go to build, cargo lock is referenced to see, hey, am I pinning any crates? Is any of these versions different? Are you using Rust version X against Y? There's all these things that cargo lock fixes, but at the same time, it also causes a different generation of cargo lock depending on your environment. If everyone's using the same environment, in a perfect world, that would happen and it would all build perfect. But since Rust moves so damn fast, chances are people haven't done like a Rust update and haven't updated their Rust environment, because honestly, every time I run Rust, there's a damn update. And that causes different versions of cargo lock to exist. Yeah, just use PowerShell instead of Rust. It's kind of a maddening mental exercise talking about all this stuff, but a good one. So you almost have to keep cargo lock and then tell people to drop the submission of cargo lock on PRs. I think that's really the fix here. Thinking about it more and kind of just laying out the pros and cons of everything we're doing, cargo lock is absolutely needed, and if we don't include it, it is going to cause problems. So cargo lock is needed. I think that is mandatory. So then from these PRs, the easiest way to accept a PR would be this. So let's say we like this PR. It's going to fix a couple warnings. It was the PR with bumping Ratatouille and cross-term to the latest versions. So this is great, but you can see all these different changes, right? Which is an issue. So let's just check out this PR, right? We have all these different ones. Now here we have this. Now, if we go through, I think there is a way to just say, open accessible diff viewer. Now, I think there's a way to just accept all of or reject all changes to a specific file in this version, and then we can just recommit that. That will change all the changes, and we should be fine. So let's do that. So we have this with a version, and I want to say we could just, oh, you cannot just accept all the stuff from main. So that's my idea, would be just to accept all the stuff from main and That way we don't have any issue here. I mean, we could do it manually. So we could also do this. So let's say, come on, what? So here's our cargo lock. What's stopping? I mean, this is such a dirty way of doing it, but I guess don't do it manually. So what I'm thinking here is we have our cargo lock here. What if we just do this? So we have that. We come back into here, and then this would resolve all the conflicts. Would it not? Check out the PR. In case of merge conflicts, just overwrite the previous one automatically. Huh. But I can't actually merge this because of the conflicts. So when I go resolve conflicts, I guess we could just, okay, so this one, we accept the incoming, right? This one, I changed this manually. So jank. Let's just complete the merge. What does that look like? So you got 15 conflicts over here. I mean, could. So then we have the merges here. I could just say, hey, accept all changes from left. That's the origin. Or we could accept all the ones from Atom over here. But we got to regenerate this anyways. So we're going to have to regenerate no matter what. Yeah, so we're going to just accept all the original. Sure. So with all that accepted, complete the merge. We've already approved it. And commit, sync. Then we should see merge pull request right here. And then let's build it. We'll do a pull. We'll do a git pull. See what happens. I'm just kind of curious to see what happens here. It's just such a shit show anytime anybody submits a cargo lock. I think we just make it part of the documentation to not submit cargo lock. But people are still going to commit it because people be people. Okay. So git switch main. Let's pull it down. Cargo check. Cargo build. Package Mio is specified twice. Format all. We'll fix it. Cargo check. Remove cargo lock. Cargo build. Cargo run. Maddening. So we're just regenerating the whole cargo lock here. You'll have to lock the lock. So how do you lock a version so you don't accept any PRs that actually try to submit cargo lock? Is that a command? So I've actually never locked a file that is being actively tracked by GitHub, so only I can change it. You have to use a CI task. You have to do it manually. Okay, so we do a GitHub action and do it. I know Rux mentioned something earlier. CI action to lock, remove cargo.lock from PRs. Good night. Okay. Auto generate and update the lock. If you pin it, it should force the version. No, maybe. Let's see what old. Let's see. Let's go workflow. Let's go new file. Cargo lock .yaml, not -yaml, but .yaml. Come on now. Let's start building something then. All right, we got something. Verifying latest dependencies. Why have cargo lock and version control? All right, kind of curious. You've piqued my interest. So we have this one. Oh no, this one and this one. Okay. All right. Continuous integration, verifying latest dependencies. When specifying dependencies in Cargo TOML, they match a range of versions. Exhaustively testing all versions combination can be unwieldy. Don't I know it? Verifying the latest versions would at least test for users that run cargo add and cargo install. When testing latest versions, considerations are minimizing external factors affecting local development or continuous integration, rate of new dependencies being published, level risk, blah, blah, blah. Some potential solutions include not checking in the cargo lock. Depending on PR velocity, when mine's really high, many versions may go untested. This comes at the cost of determinism. I'm going to say that 3 times fast. Have a CI job verify the latest dependencies, but mark it continue on failure. Depending on the CI service, failures might be obvious. Depending on the CI velocity, may use more resources than necessary. Have a scheduled CI job verify the latest dependencies. Host the CI service may disable scheduled jobs. If it hasn't been touched for a while, that's not a problem. Depending on the CI service, yeah, that's fine. Regularly update dependencies through PRs like Dependabot or RenovateBot. We're doing that already. Can isolate dependencies on their own PR or roll them up into a single PR only using the resources necessary. Can configure the frequency and balance of CI resources and coverage of dependency versions. An example CI job to verify latest dependencies using GitHub Actions. Okay. We just spent the last hour or so with big resolution merge conflicts. Oh no. Oh no. What happened? What happened, Martin? Yeah, it was a lot of PRs we did. Some big changes were made too, especially with the new I think we had a whole bunch of pre-processing updates and compilations that happened that changed quite a few files. So, God, I'm sorry, man. Yeah. Because you're working on the theme switcher. I'm sorry. I thought about that. I knew that would screw up your PR. Word of warning. It's horrible to debug. Oh. All right. Man. All right, let's see here. Why have cargo lock and version control? Cargo new defaults to tracking cargo lock and version control. Whether you do so is dependent on your needs of your package. Purpose of cargo lock is to describe the state of the world at the time of successful build. Cargo uses the lock file to determine determinist builds at different times on different systems by ensuring the exact same dependencies and versions are used. Yes, we know this. All right, fine. Have snapshots. All right, fine. Right, only TOML does. We don't really care about it. I'm just thinking from accepting. So, yeah. Wow. Man, I don't know. I think we just, here's my thought process. Make a GitHub action that removes any changes to cargo.lock in any pull request. So what this does is it would immediately discard any changes to cargo.lock, and I would be the only one updating cargo.lock. It's still tracked, and anytime the TOML changes, it will go ahead and update that TOML file, but it will ignore everything else. That's my thought process. Let's see what we got here. Initial run here would grab this. What about this? What do we think of this solution, chat? We have cargo lock changes, but as soon as PRs come through with cargo lock, it strips out the cargo.lock changes and then lets the PR go through. Is there a downside to doing it this way? I feel like this would be the best of both worlds. Normally you would include it in the binary crate and .gitignore it in the library crate. When building a binary, the cargo lock of the binary crate is used and the lock files of all the dependencies are ignored. If the PR has a crate that you don't have, will it work? Well, on build, it should grab those crates because the crate would be added into the TOML file. So as soon as I do cargo build, it should technically update my cargo lock file with that added crate. And then I would submit the changes or do a direct push to main, and that cargo lock would get updated then. Just my thought process. Yeah. Let's see what just Linux. Just don't accept any PRs with cargo lock. That's true. That's another way of doing it. Oh, why didn't that? It didn't open. What do I do if I have cargo locks in merge conflict? Check out main -- cargo lock to get the original cargo lock. Cargo build, update cargo lock, git add cargo lock, continue as merge as normal. Oh, that's you know what? Let's just grab it. I like that. And let's move merge to cargo-lock merge.txt. So if anybody wants to know, I like that. I appreciate you making that document with us. We're just going to add it to the bulk of the main. It's going to just sit beside cargo lock. So then people can go, oh, okay, that's what's happening. But I also do want to strip out cargo lock from any of those. You can see the git reset grabbing cargo lock here, doing the removing changes cargo lock, and then pushing back. So if they do this, it will automatically do it for me using a GitHub action. Yeah. GitHub cargo merge driver. I mean, I want to just fix this from a foundational level so I don't have to think about this or touch it ever again. That's the whole purpose of doing it this way. I want to make sure I have a very clear understanding of what cargo lock does, why I constantly get merge conflicts with it, how to avoid future merge conflicts, and not completely screw up the project when accepting PRs that have new crates in them from cargo. All these things want to get addressed without ever having to think about it really again is the idea. That's why I'm thinking of doing this. It will delete the original commit message and author. Okay. Oh, only run this if a pull request has cargo.lock in it. Okay. Apply that, accept. So then we have that. Retain the original author and commit messages. Cool. So let's see. What's that doing? Does not look like that is actually doing it the right way. I don't like that. I guess we can't really commit it. Let's deny that. You can't sign it as them, so you can't retain the author. Yeah. If I thought about that for 2 seconds, I would have come to that same conclusion. Anyways, this will only run if the paths of cargo.lock get submitted in a PR. It will check out the code, and then it will remove the cargo lock changes by first configuring the Git environment with the name GitHub Actions and the user GitHub Actions at github.com. Doing a checkout, it then resets the head of only cargo.lock, so it grabs the cargo lock from main. It does a commit saying, hey, removing changes from cargo.lock, and then it pushes that as a force, and that should wipe out cargo.lock changes in any future PR. I like it. And we'll also stipulate in here that please do not submit cargo.lock. But for the people that forget, this GitHub action will fix those people. So it's a two-pronged approach. One, we clearly articulate don't submit PRs with cargo.lock. And then when people forget or don't read that, then they go ahead and automatically remove the cargo.lock from those PRs. I think this is a good middle ground. So cargo lock policies. Well, as soon as cargo.toml is done, oh, you're right. Trying to think of the best automation here. If we build it on the project using this, then it's going to change the cargo, and then it's going to also cause problems with the merge. It's like a lose-lose here. I don't see a great solution other than when I do the PR, I just am now responsible with regenerating the cargo.lock and making sure that that PR works properly with the new submitted cargo.lock. Ah, God. Yeah, you just can't win with this. I just feel like Rust kind of screwed up with this one from a language perspective. And it's really only a problem for projects that have a lot of contributors. I mean, it's as close as it can get. Yeah, let's test it out. Let's see what we get. Cargo merge driver. Wait. Before we submit this, chat might come up with a solution here. Merge driver. What is that? Cargo merge driver. Automatically merge cargo.lock files. I don't instill a lot of confidence in this having 3 stars. Damn. 3 stars, man. Man, that's crazy. Oh, no. I meant to push that text file to the main branch. I don't care. People need to know I'm going to do that. That's what's going to happen. So I'm totally okay. That's the whole point of pushing that to the main branch. So people know I'm going to wipe out their cargo.lock. Man, I was really hoping for this to have a little bit more automatically merge cargo.lock files to enable cargo merge driver, globally run cargo install merge driver, cargo merge install global. It can also be enabled per repository with cargo install, cargo merge driver. Yeah. Dude, if more than 3 people in the world used it, I probably would be okay with this. But to me, I can't use something that is so new that it's been around for 3 years and only 3 people use it. That tells me I can't use that. That's not the right way to approach this. Yeah. Yeah, as far as testing goes, I don't know. I don't know enough about cargo, obviously. Just based on this whole conversation, you can understand I would not have a good understanding to be able to test that properly and vet it. So therefore, I can't use it, even though it might fix our solution. So right now, I think we'll just push that that GitHub action for cargo lock, and man, let's just roll with it. So let's first look at our LinUtil and see what we have. Man, it's kind of funny. We got through like one pull request on LinUtil out of 40, but it was a very important. We tackled some very important things here. So let's look at that action too. I want to see remove cargo lock changes. Okay, yeah. So this will only run on when someone submits a cargo.lock PR. So future PRs, we won't know until someone submits something. It was a good one. It was a good thought exercises too. So, I mean, it's not like I regret spending all this time on it. It's just something that I'm like, hey, let's give it a whirl. Oh, hey, Adam submitted something too. This also fixes the frame size and frame area. Okay. There is no cargo.lock on this PR. Let's just squash and merge it. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, cargo run. We're good. We're good. That's hilarious. Cargo check. It did clear up our. Let's do a cargo clean. Cargo check. I mean, the project's in a really good spot right now, so all that looks gravy. Just perfect. No changes. Everything's clean. No warnings. Clean as could be. Perfect. I can share a public Git repo my team has with Python poetry.log. Oh, I know. I wanted to kind of clean it out, redo it just to see what would happen. If I can break it now, I'm going to break it now kind of thing. Just to see what would happen. Because the clean, I think, dumps all the build files, right? Let's double check. Yeah, removes generated artifacts. Yeah, probably not needed to do, but I don't know. It made me feel better by doing it. GitHub offers Dependabot alerting you for cargo lock. True. Okay, let's keep moving. You know, as much as a pain in the butt the Rust PRs are, I kind of want to keep going through them. Is there anything else in here? Let's go back through let's see, feature update, remove unneeded image, replace with primary, contributing. Okay, this looks good. What are we changing here? We got known issues. We're adding idea for contributes. Yep. Fork and clone the repo. Check merge. Check study rejected PRs. Always good. Write clean descriptive commit messages. Be descriptive. I'm actually probably reading this for my own benefit as well. Cargo lock.diff or cargo lock.merge. Didn't we look at the cargo lock dot? Not to beat a dead horse into the ground, but cargo lock dot or dash merge. I think that's what we were actually looking. Yeah, that's exactly what we were looking. Oh no, that's the merge driver. Is that a GitHub action? Well, all right. That's just, we're gonna have to come back another day. I'm gonna think on that some more. There's the suggestion exists, which seems to work. All right. Yeah. I'm just not too keen on trying out something for the very first time in the very first person, being the guinea pig for the world. I kind of want other people to go in front of me, especially people that know more about Rust than I. So yeah. Anyways, all right, let's keep going. Code review feedback, contributing code. Great. Yep. Like that. Man, they definitely updated quite a bit here. Preview branch. I don't know about listing all this in the, well, it's the user guide, so I guess it's fine. Let's approve this. This is just updating some of the documentation. This is due to change, but couldn't hurt to have a good base. Someone took the time to kind of fill out what we already have, and might be good. Yeah, Rust is still growing, I think. I still love what we've created in Rust, though. Like, don't take what I'm saying about cargo lock as, oh my God, I can't believe Rust is the worst language ever or anything like that. It's just, every language has its own nuances, you know? And there's little things that everything I've ever tackled, you're always going to run into roadblocks and just strange things that don't really make much sense to me, but there's always workarounds to it. And as long as you pay attention to, hey, okay, I'm going to try and get around this doing this method. Does it cause any problems? If it does, then sure, revert, you know, and just trial and error. And that's going to be a lot of what happens on this project too. There's going to be a lot of trial and error, and I'm going to screw up for sure, but that's just part of learning. That's when you learn. I think that's what's lost on some people too, is they're just so afraid of screwing up and then having people look at their screw up and going, oh my God, you're an idiot. And I don't want to say I love that, but I do understand that when I screw up, yeah, it doesn't feel great in the moment, but that's when I actually learn something. If I already just did everything properly the first time and I didn't see any repercussions for what I just did, well, then I didn't really learn anything. I just kind of did it and it worked. So, okay. But when I did something and then it breaks, that's a good thing in the long run, because that's when you learn the most. Please check 306. I don't even think we have a 306 in the PRs. Oh no, we're on the second page. Sure, let's look at 306. Docker setup. So probably bash script, isn't it? Learn to fail or fail to learn. I like that. Let's see. I was actually going to do something with QEMU and set up that. Docker's pretty good though. That looks good. You're curling it from get Docker. All right. And then set up. Yeah, that's solid. It's a very solid addition. I like it. Oh, look, he submitted the cargo lock. Let's see if the action, I don't think the action will run because I created the action after the PR was created. So it's going to just have a conflict. Yeah. All right. Can't merge it. Yeah, for that, obviously, it was a bad PR because you submitted a cargo lock when you didn't change anything in Rust. So it just kind of screwed up the whole PR. And this is something that I think this PR down here will fix. It is LJ. Yeah, LJ is amazing. He's made so many good PRs. This separates out the TUI and core crates and also switches the scripts to run. I mean, it's a big change, mind you, but it separates the workspace as out, and then you have a tabs folder instead of having to drill down into like sources, commands, and then all that. Now it's just tabs over here. I really like this change, but if we do this change, it's going to break every PR, but I think it's a necessary change. And you can see the TUI crate over here is separated out. See, I like this a lot, and I don't think that's going to screw up too much. I mean, obviously there's going to be a gajillion conflicts on this one probably. Oh, God bless. Yeah. Just minor things. But I do like this PR. I would accept this PR. Obviously, trying to go through this many conflicts would be crazy. But I do like the idea of splitting LinUtil into the TUI and core crates and then pushing the tabs over into its own folder like this. But I do need this updated. So this would be the new structure. Do breaking changes last, my dude. Yeah, no doubt. Let's comment on that LJ one and just say, hey, I love the changes. Let me work through some of the PRs. Yeah, I do like it though. A good structural change for sure. Let's see what else we have. Use D type instead of packager. Interesting. Coming from the back. Let's get one more. I think mine's starting to go. Add AUR helper functionality to common script. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense depending on how you implemented it. Let's see. Because there's going to be people that don't. Oh, okay. He just added a function for check AUR helper. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. And then switching that around. So this will do the clone and install of it. Does it install over here? Yeah, it does. It goes ahead and fixes it. But checking AUR helper, the downside to this, oh no, it checks to make sure Pacman's there. And check super user disk collision. As long as check environments first, AUR helper will kick off with no problem. See an issue with any of that. And it does take care of a lot of redundant code. Yeah, that's solid. To fix the problem with cargo lock, if that was a bash script, there's no submission of cargo lock that should happen at all. So if you're not changing any Rust code and you're just doing bash scripts and you submit a cargo lock, your PR will be denied. Now, having said that, that new GitHub action I made should technically fix your PR for you, but I wouldn't rely on my YAML ability and GitHub actions to save your ass before I get to your PR. So if I see a PR, there's a cargo lock on it, and you're doing a bunch of bash stuff, I'm just going to close it because the bash stuff should be completely independent of all the Rust stuff, and you shouldn't be changing anything. Because what's going to happen is you're going to be using an old version of Rust because, well, you don't develop in Rust on a day-to-day basis, so you're probably using an old version. Hell, if you're using a version from last week, it's an old version. You know, that's how fast Rust moves. So that's the problem with cargo lock we just went over for like the past hour. It's like there's so many versions. Anyways, this does look good. NNYY does a pretty good job with a lot of the scripts submissions. So I'm going to merge that. So it shouldn't be in the commit. Yeah. Let's see. Just Linux user says 247. Let's check it out. 247 and 241. 247 went over codebase to find small problems. I like it. All right. They're not bugs, just weird little things that needs fixing. I made sure that YAML entry type is a proper enum and not a struct hack with ifs checking it. This fix doesn't change the TOML format in any way. I suspect the author of the code didn't know about Serde flatten, which is understandable. I didn't know about it until recently. I fixed an issue introduced. We're typing on the keyboard with any symbols except English would produce problems inside of LinUtil. This would fix that bug. Good to know. All right. Okay, cool. Let's see. Here's LJ's submission of it too. The build scripts optionally are very intentional. If you don't rebuild on change to source commands, updating the tab or scripts will have no impact unless you manually delete the binaries first. Cargo does not recursively check directories. It checks for changes to modules. No module is contained within the source commands. Source commands rs and commands mod rs would have to exist for that to be the case. And therefore, Cargo will not check for changes to the directory or the file within. If you don't rerun the build script on the change to source, the date displayed within the program will be incorrect, running subsequential builds on different days. Check 224 for information on that. Good catch with the Serde flatten. I figured there was a better way to do that. Drop this commit and fix the important, the missing important, you'll be ready to merge. That's cool to know. So another thing before we do, well, whenever LJ updates his PR, or if he updates his PR, I should say, on the restructure, hopefully that fixes what he's talking about between the build. Because if you do a cargo build, sometimes it won't read the changes that are made with the bash scripts within the src commands folder. And it does not recursively check directories. It just checks for changes in the modules. That's interesting. Oh, this is not the end? Oh, okay. Have you actually had that issue, or did you just think a such issue might happen? If you've actually had such an issue, please share your setup. Interesting. I changed my system clock a day forward, modified the code, rebuilt. The date displayed was the date from the previous build until I cleaned the directory. My tool chain was blah, 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 going through. To handle the pass-through function has more room for improvement. We don't deal with the mutable variable. The logic can be compressed into a single match statement without impacting readability. Also remember to use intro or into _x functions rather than to owned on reference and slice in this case. Whenever said function is available, you don't need the initial value anymore. Interesting. So I can't merge because of the build of LinUtil. Do we ignore the build? I think we have to ignore the build directory. And then, like, obviously, yeah, that's improved. But I feel like we should do a git ignore of the build. And that should be fine. I don't really want to rebase this. I do want to change how this is... just so we don't run into this same issue, because the code itself is fine. We don't have any actual merge conflicts, The only merge conflict we have is the binary that was submitted. And I want to say the GitHub action should build the binary, correct? Oh, crap. What's going on here? You can build using actions and deploy it as a release, correct? Yeah, that's what I want to do. And that's what we were doing right here. That's why I was like, I need to omit that using like a good ignore and then having the action take over. But actually running into a problem here. I think if we look at line 21, well, that technically should work. Let's look at, jeez, broke my darn. This is a little maddening, but that's okay. We'll get through it. Where is, okay, pre-release YAML. Let's take a peek at it. Okay, so the release drafter happens, and then we have the generation here. I bet you it's not escaping out some of the ones. First 3 rules of source management. Never commit generated files. Never commit generated binary files. Step 3, see rules 1 and 2. And then hide and shame. Agreed. Agreed. Wonder you are not wrong. Everything's set up here. It's just getting it all set up right. And that's a lot of the initial commits. A lot of people need to remember that this project is only like 2 months old, I want to say. So a lot of these are just silly issues, and it seems like you spend a lot of time on them. But once you get the foundations all set just right and the workflows all set up, it really does flow so much easier on future commits. We just need to change and tweak a few things. So it's not the end of the world here. Now, if we look at those actions, I want to see what the failure was. Exit completed build space. Okay, let's look. Let's feed that into here. I don't think that's going to be able to read anything, but we'll see. It's just going to give a verbose output. Let's see if we can't see what the hell the error is. Doing an error on continuous stupid. What do we have? All right, let's see. Flipping through, release drafter, found 10 releases. Run changes. Yeah, I think it's running into an escaping issue too. What happened, I think, is when people put these right here, you notice how they have these hyphens? I think we got to escape or replace those. If I was a betting man, these right here are probably the things causing the biggest issue. And see how it says line 20 ratatouille in cross term, and it's pulling these in. I'm gonna say, let's just, these lines in the generated release notes are not being escaped properly. So we'll just do shift, enter, boom. The issue is likely due to special characters in the release notes. Correct. Not being escaped properly on the output. Let's modify the prepare release body step to properly escape these characters. Here's a modified version. So then we're doing the escape changes. Let's see what that looks like. So during the generation, that's fine. There is no template version here. Version template, I'll look at that. Let's template version. I'm seeing an error here as well. Let's just double check. Template version resolver. Yeah, that's, oh no, version template right here. Yeah, that's fine. That's legit. Huh, whatever. It's just drunk. So GitHub output would be body new changes, but then it's changing the body EOF new changes and then EOF right here. Why would it remove that, I wonder? Maybe it doesn't need that? Yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, I've done this before on WinUtil, and what this is doing is it's using a release drafter. It's kind of a new cool, it's made by release-drafter. It's a great GitHub one. It separates like bugs and release enhancements, all kinds of cool stuff out. I don't think that's necessarily right because it's actually removing the EOF. And I want to say it still should be escaped through the EOF here. So I don't think that's quite right. Let's double check on the release drafter. Let's look at a couple examples over here and see what this looks like. So here's the auto labeler, but I want to see if they actually give us the actions output. Okay, here we go. So actions output, you have version. Version template's not correct, actually. So that is correct. Okay, so this right here needs to go away. That's not a thing. And then for prepare release body, let's see. Do we have an example? I guess we could use WinUtil, as I already did a bunch of commits over there. Let's just do that. How did I do it over here? Don't need to reinvent the wheel. Yeah, the 2 EOFs. I don't know what was the deal with that, so we'll take a peek here in a second, but I don't know if it's going to cause an error or not. I'm going to look at this because I know I was doing release drafter in here. Here's release drafter. We set the version. Then we create and upload the release. Well, shoot. Config name release-drafter YAML. I don't see any shenanigans here, and I know I'm escaping stuff. So that tells me I must have done it in the actual release drafter. It's funny that I did this and I completely forgot. Dude, is there an escape? Okay, exclude labels, skip changelog, replacers. There is. I did do this already. This is obviously a little different, but check this out. Such a cool project, but not very many people use it, so there's not a lot to go off of. Let's go to the release drafter. So here's the current one, right? That looks great, but what we're gonna do is change all of this, and then for the escape one, we're gonna change that, replace it with that, single hyphens, that hyphens, and then what we can also do, and what I'm gonna look for here is, was it a tick? I think it was a tick that was the problem with the release drafter. Yeah, it was backticks. So there's the backticks, but we're also gonna go ahead and single out quotes, single quotes, and then backticks. And I think that should pretty much solve our problem. Solve our woes. Yeah. I like all that. Yeah, that's one way of doing it. So after looking at this, this will fix the release drafter. And then if we look at the release YAML again, what we're going to do is actually a lot easier than everything here. Prepare release body? No, we're not going to do that at all. Create and upload release? Yes, we will do. But what this looks like, if we go back to our release drafter here and our GitHub action, which was, oh, you're allowed to, you can't squash and merge anything on my branch, but you can squash and merge your own branch. So yes, you should go ahead and merge. But if you're tracking the changes, make sure you just do a git remove, so you're not tracking the git lock. Don't remove the git lock, but just revert it back to the main branch. Yeah. So generate release notes here. You got the config name release-drafter, and then you just do generate notes output right here. Copy. So this actually should be like that. And this one, config release drafter, tab that over. So we have our generate notes directly in the body. The version, no access to version. It should set the environment right here. Yeah, that doesn't, yeah. I'm not doing anything with that. So version. And it's a GitHub environment. That's fine. I don't know why it's saying invalid version. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I think that's actually correct. Did I exit? Anywho, I feel like this is good. We now are generating the notes through the release drafter. We've changed release drafter to go ahead and replace any special characters, especially backticks. Fix release notes. Let's go ahead and push this. And I think this will be good. Yeah, if you ever need to figure out how to do the cargo lock, a little hack, actually, I put it directly in the main branch for people, because I know a lot of people aren't going to be like Rust devs using this project. So if you have a problem with the merge, look at the cargo lock merge right here. What to do if you have a cargo lock merge conflict. You do a git checkout origin main -- cargo lock. This grabs the main branch's cargo lock. You do a cargo build to update the cargo lock. You do a git add cargo lock, and then you continue with the merge. This should fix any cargo lock merges. And frankly, if you don't ever do it to begin with, under the changes in like a GitHub desktop, you can just like right click and say discard changes. And that makes sure like if you're building on the branch and you never commit cargo lock, it's great. So if you have problems even past this and it's still submitting cargo lock, just close the PR, open a new PR, and only submit the files that changed, specifically the bash files. Also a very good way of doing it. My dreams tonight are going to involve cargo lock in some way. I think my nightmares tonight will involve cargo lock in some way. All right, let's see how we're doing on our GitHub action. Pre-release failure. Well, that was 18 minutes ago. Here we go. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. Let's go. Got it. So we got a generation of release notes, and we should have a new release sitting, waiting in the wings. If we did everything right, at least. So here's our pre-release. Hot dog. Look at that thing of beauty. So this is everything we've done so far today. Every time we do a PR, it'll automatically update all this, get it perfect, and then go from there. So that's pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and dump this pre-release. Looks like the date changed right in the middle of it. This one, pre-release 904. Add fails to rate. Yeah, we can dump that one as well. And that's the latest that we're currently rocking with. Okay, so here's our current pre-releases for the week. That's looking good. Let's do a git pull. Cargo run. We're still looking good on here. Man, that looks awesome. All right, so let's pull up cursor again. And I think there was one more PR that people wanted me to look at too. I know this is a little bit of a slow go on the LinUtil portion of the stream, but that's just how it goes when you get into the new stuff. 2 steps forward, 1 step back usually. No, just links user wanted me to look at 241 as well. Close LinUtil on Control C doesn't reset cursor position on exit. I've noticed this as well. Yeah, Control C would be nice to have, as it wasn't working when I was doing my cargo run as well. It's a proven run. Let's look at these merge conflicts. That's from the earlier version. It's actually not much of a merge conflict. Oh, wait. So we have the main branch, which looks like that would be what we need to grab. Changes the function from public to private, though. Can you pre-release the WinUtil? Yeah, BCO, we can do that. I think we've got enough going. Let's do that while we're waiting as well. Thinking on that one. I think it'll work. All right, we're gonna run this workflow. That should give us a new one with all the new things. So on this conflict, man, I just don't. So this is the main branch we're on now. This is the selected change, mute self, change directory bool, option command. Yeah, I'm not sure on that one. Yeah, we're gonna have to pull that into here. So we've got this. The pre-release is working great. So that was a good addition. Close that one out. Let's go ahead and check this out. I want to look at this PR directly in here. Let's just go pull up the PR right here. And what we're going to do, geez, so many PRs, man. Close LinUtil right here. I want to look at the actual changes themselves. So if you look at this right here is going to be the which conflict state RS. So let's look at state RS. Let's get some reference here. Let's close this chat out and this window as well. It's what's the hotkey for that? Control B. Okay. So now we got this. Changes being made or suggested. So here's the current main. This is the new suggested changes. So let's just flip through here. We got some spacing, nothing big. We have the key codes. This is where Control C will actually quit out of the application. Spacing change, it looks like, right there. Well, so this is where the actual conflict happens in the main branch. Why is it not showing that changes? Am I on crazy pills? Yeah. This is public function get selected command. But when we're looking at over here, that's not actually changed. No, it does not work on Mac. Yeah, Mac's going to be its own thing for sure. GitHub might be angry about the new line somehow. Yeah, I mean, technically, looking at this, it's not actually changing anything from main, so I don't understand why it's showing a conflict here. Let's see. Let's make sure that WinUtil release fired off. Why is this still grabbing too much? Still grabbing way too many PRs for the release drafter. Well, damn it. All right, release drafter, you're going kind of wild here. Really want to use this, but it's going just to the latest is what I need. Yeah, this one has all the past PRs in a log. We'll just fix it. It's fine. I like release drafter. I think it'll be good for clarity once we get it all buttoned up. So close to installing Linux. I'm just waiting for get a third SSD. All right, man. You have fun. There's a lot to learn. All right, well, this release drafter is not working. Let's take a peek. You know what I'm gonna do? Let's just grab WinUtil real fast. I know I'm in Linux, it's okay. I'm just making sure this is up to date. What I wanna do, since it doesn't really matter for Windows Linux here, we're just gonna change this action. So pre-release, and in the release drafter right here, release drafter is grabbing all PRs instead of just the pre-release. So what changes are we gonna do? Version resolver, major, minor, patch. I think if you look at our versioning, we do versioning a little different with the dates. That's gonna be a problem. Yeah, it should only be in the bits in this release. It's just how this is set up. It's just a little different is all. This is a good start. Let's feed a little more context here. Versions are done by year. Let's see, what's the, yeah, year, month, day. Okay. Resolve version, year, month, day. Filter by commitish, main and master. Okay. So the updated name plan to use this, replace version resolver section with a simpler version that always uses the date base format. That's fine. Okay, cool. Filter by commitish setting to ensure. Okay, so let's apply that. So it changes that, yes. And then if we look down here, we're just doing default year, month, day. Yes. And then you have filter by commitish right here. Okay, cool. So before we do this, what we're going to do is just wipe out this entire release. We're going to go back up. We're going to wipe out this entire draft. And then we're going to resubmit. Will this work? I don't know. 20% chance of working, but it's worth doing. All right, let's go WinUtil. We're going to just update release drafter, commit, push. We'll have to do the same thing for Linux utility as well. That's why I'm working on it right now. I'm going to come back to that. Let this run through on the actions. How is progress coming along on WinUtil? I have a big Halo streamer to run it. Where's the pipeline in terms of mitigating more Microsoft bloatware, spyware? Should I run LinUtil when I install Bazite? I don't think LinUtil really has much Bazite features yet, but I will add them. So not really necessary right now. As far as WinUtil goes, man, it's just a daily, if not, it's probably weekly updates, if not daily, depending on what's happening. So yeah, we're constantly just jamming along, both all the contributors and myself, just going crazy. It's fun. But yeah, it's always a good thing to kind of go through all this. I know some of it's a little maddening staring at it for hours on end. I know we're about 4.5 hours into this stream, so getting to the upper ends of my limits, but I do like just every day working on it. Even if it's only an hour at night or something when I'm alone, I still like to do it. It's fun. All right, now let's run our release drafter. Let's see what we get. Do we get any love or do we just get a ton of spam? We're about to find out. Yeah, and I think the next WinUtil stream we do, we need to revisit Edge. Edge, the bane of my existence. Trying to remove Edge is always a tricky thing. I'm almost about to give up on it. Microsoft really doesn't want it removed. Thoughts on Zen browser? It's interesting. I just don't really want to use it. I don't want another Firefox fork. Invalid config file. All right, what happened? Filter by commitish must be Boolean. Update version. Okay. Major minor patch. Version resolver. Okay. Well, good to know. How about we just go directly to the horse's mouth? Release drafter. What we're going to look at is this. So version resolver. Okay, so version template. This is a template used for calculating the next version number for the release. Useful for projects that don't use semantic versioning default. Okay, I think we're going to just omit this. And version resolver, adjusted resolved version using variable using refer to version resolver for that. Filter by commitish. Filter previous releases and consider only those when targeting the matching commitish. Okay, so filter by commitish. Commitish release target branch of commit that it should point to. Default the ref that release runs for. Okay, master. Configured to run on master or main. Okay, so I think we can just go filter by commitish and then just say true. So this right here, we just say true. Version resolver, if we look at that syntax, let's look deeper into there. Yeah, I don't think we really can do much with this, which is fine. Because I have like nobody does versioning like I do. I don't mean that in a good way either. I just like to filter my versions by day. You know, one of them things. Okay. I'm going to leave this off, and I'm just hoping that the filter by commitish will work. And I think that'll be fine. So the version resolver, going to get rid of. Great commenting there, Jippity. Name tag template's fine. What were the other errors we ran into? So filter by commitish should be Boolean. Version resolver default should be major minor patch. Okay. And we got rid of version. That's fine. Yeah, that looks good. Was there any other Boolean examples here? I guess that should work. Okay. Now we actually just did a PR on the WinUtil where it pulls the old printer panel in there too. So the old Windows 7 printer panel, really hard to find because it's a strange hexadecimal shell command in the run prompt. You can't even get to it through the old control panel anymore. It's still there, but it's hidden well away. Check PR 49 on Hyperlanditis. Man, I need to revisit Hyperlanditis. I hadn't, man. Oof. After my Hyperland experience from today, man, I don't know if I'll be back. That might have been the last run for Hyperland for me. I'll check the PR though. I'll check the PR. Whatever it is, I'm gonna accept it and look at it. Oh yeah, we're up to 1.8 million downloads of WinUtil. Isn't that nuts? That is crazy sauce to me. Okay, so we got our updates. We update release drafter. This is 1 minute ago. We're gonna grab our pre-release. Let's rerun our pre-release. I'm hoping this time around it'll be good. So it did. Oh wait, if it failed, did it create a release? Oh yeah, let's just delete that. Oh wait, was that the latest release? Ah, crap. Did I just wipe out the release for the latest, or was that draft? Shit. Oh well. Well, it was release drafter creates a draft 1.0, and I was unsure if that was it. I had an 8:30 release, I want to say, that was on here with all the stuff, and yeah, it just went right. Is this everything? Shit, it is. Damn it. Come on, man. I really want to use release drafter. I really do. But this just keeps... Yeah, I just need the hash. Man, release drafter is just not working for me. All right. Yeah, if I could get this release drafter working, it's just because of my version scheming, or the how I just do year, month, day, it's just not grabbing that. And since it's not able to grab the proper tag, it's not able to see anything, so it just throws every PR known to man in the release notes until it just runs out of room. I just wanted it to work. And then I ended up deleting the 8:30 release. Not a big deal. Like, we still have the commits and everything, so it's not like it deleted any progress. It just if you're running the script, all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh shit, we just went back a week. But that's fine. We're about to do a new release. Can you get back 8:30? I don't know. Can we? 8:30's there, right there. So I think you can just create a release with the tag 8:30, but we don't have the release notes and anything. We're just going to create a brand new release. It'll be fine. I want to push out a new release anyways. I just wanted to fix this release drafter. That's me, Adam from GitHub. About that PR and LinUtil, had to clean build cargo.lock because it wouldn't compile. I'd resolve all conflicts myself, but I didn't check on the PR for a while, and you were faster. Sorry that you had to go through this. Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. Just parts. Just part of learning. So it's fun. Oh man. Well, I think I'm going to call it here. This is such a weird spot to stop, mainly because I just deleted a actual latest release on WinUtil at 8:30. So I think my mind's going. And yeah, I think as we're going to just stop it here. I'm going to go eat, maybe go walk around the block a little bit, clear my head, and then maybe later tonight, go ahead and do a latest release and then check it out. But yeah, now when I start making silly mistakes like that, I know it's time to quit because it's only going to go downhill from here. So always best, I find doing things in 3-hour chunks to be the maximum yield on my time, and then taking a break for like an hour and then coming back. And then I got another good 3-hour chunk that I can get done. And I feel like that's like the best, most optimal way to just get the most out of me. It's just 3-hour chunks. So yeah. And I'll do the latest release later tonight. So WinUtil be on a 9.10 release soon. I want to kind of tinker around with release drafter a little bit more offline. I know this is kind of boring to watch, but I'll finish all that out and then do a latest release. So we'll upgrade the release. So for like the next couple hours, it'll run the 8.22 release, which will be the latest. Not a big deal. It'll be fine. Everyone will just pull that. That's the beauty of how we situated the links, is it's all dynamic. So it just always grabs whatever the latest release is. And if that latest release gets wiped out, let's say there's a bad commit or a bad PR that makes it into a latest release. Shouldn't happen because technically we do it like a dev release and then a latest. This next one's going to be more shoot from the hip, and it'll be a quick latest release. So if we do have a bug in it, again, I'll just go in and delete the release, and then it just reverts back to the last version. So not a big deal. Occasionally you run into that type of thing. Raid Tom Millman. All right, let's do it. All right, YouTube. See you later. Twitch, stay online. We'll keep going.